it all came down to the hole 18, which is super exciting, over the water shot, and Paige got a 3 while Sarah carded a 6, I believe. So things went flip flop, and we saw that in the men too. So it's that kind of course where there's OB everywhere. There's huge par 5s, tons of par 4s, again, in the woods. There's water. There's everything on this course. So it should be pretty exciting. So, I think it's just about playing safe this weekend, and we're going to see who comes out on the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, down at Waco on the Beast course, we've got decent weather. It's looking around the 60s today. And we do have our defending champion, Paige Pierce, on the card. Now, tell me a little bit about Paige's season so far and maybe her mindset coming into this.
Well, as we saw at the Memorial, that was the first event of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. She got second place behind Evelina Salonen, but Paige is playing great, as usual. Last year, she was on such a streak. So I can only imagine that she's back for revenge for this tournament. She wants to win it again, I'm sure. And it's going to be a battle. I know, when you lose a tournament, all you want to do is play better that next time. So I think she's going to come out swinging.
All right. So we're going to throw it over to our intro piece, and we'll be right back to prep you for the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs.
Off on hole 1. So we're going to start off in the open, which is a nice relief, but these ladies are going to get right into it in the first couple of holes. So we're going to head over to hole 1 when we can, and we're going to do a live listen in. I think it's exciting being on hole 1. The nerves are kicking. It's the first hole. You want to get off to a good start. So we're going to do a live listen in, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and from our understanding, the ladies have been on the course for a little while. Action's been going on there at the Waco course for a little bit, and we're going to catch up and see how everybody's doing. Of course, you can follow all the action on UDisc Live. Big shout out to UDisc, one of our partners. They're providing some of the cutting edge stats and technology that we've really come to expect and love in disc golf. So big shout out to Matt Kruger and the UDisc crew for providing a great asset to the sport. We're excited about that. We also want to thank Dynamic Discs for being a great presenting sponsor of Waco for a number of years. As we all know, Waco supports a great cause, and we know that a lot of the Pro Tour events donate to charity as well. So we're excited to be part of this. And Ryan Draper and his crew, it's very hard to pull off a great event.
Yeah? Do you know a little bit about that?
I do. And actually, before we get going here, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Jeff Spring. I've been an advisor on the Pro Tour for a while. I'm excited to commentate here with Val today. We're going to be talking about the Waco, but I've run the Green Mountain Championship for 5 years now, and last year I was the TD of the PDGA Pro World Championship. So that was a great experience for me and my crew. But the big takeaway is it's very challenging to run a large event. It takes years, maybe a full year of planning, usually as soon as the event ends. And I know, talking to the tournament director, Ryan Draper, as soon as the event ends, it's very, very much starting the next year. So a big shout out to that crew. Big shout out to Ryan Draper. And here we are. We're going live. We're just picking up picture now here in our Disc Golf Pro Tour studio, and we're catching up with the action here. We see Paige Pierce and Paige Bjerkes on this hole 2. So that hole 2 is a par 4, and we're catching them on the green here. So what do you think about hole 2? It's a par 4, but it's very gettable.
Yeah, it's a par 4, 516 feet. There's a Mando off the tee. They have to go right of that. And here we have Brianna Ainsley out of Squamish, BC. New face to the scene. She's on the lead card, and I'm not sure if she's been on too many lead cards, but this is great to see her featured, to see another one of our FPO women out there. New face. She has the best style. Let me just point that out. I mean, look, we got a great close-up right there of her. So it's going to be really fun to watch her play, see how she can handle the pressure today.
Yeah, and it looks like her upshots nestled in around the edge of Circle 1 there as we continue coverage here at the Waco Annual Charity Open. Looks like we're catching up with the feature card, I should say, on hole 2. Here's Sarah Hokenbow. Sarah's got off to a good start this season. Looks like she's in position to attack the basket here.
Yeah, but we're going to see a lot of nice sidearms from Sarah. Again, taking second place last year, so she's got some revenge on this course.
Looks like she's playing hyzer into the basket, and she put it right on the basket. Looks like she'll be...
And so I'm not sure we ran down who is on our lead card today, but we have, of course, Brianna Ainsley. We just saw Sarah Hokum. We have the 2 Paiges. So Paige Pierce and world champion, 2018 world champion, Paige Bjerkes, with her hair pulled back. We don't see that too often.
No, she usually has it down and flowing as she throws her upshot right under the basket. And she broke through at Smuggler's Notch last year during the World Championship for her first world title, and then already has a huge win this season as we watch ladies approach the green here on hole 2. She won the inaugural event of the year, the Las Vegas Challenge, which is a national tour event, PDGA national tour event. And that's got to be a great feeling to start the year with that.
Oh, yeah. Huge confidence builder. You know, after a long off season, coming off a huge world championship win, you want to be off to a good start like that. She didn't have a great round at Memorial, but great couple of rounds at the Memorial, but she's got a great game right now. It looked really solid in Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's Paige Pierce with her upshot. Looks like she's looking to be a little bit aggressive here, maybe give it a run.
It is nice to see the sun shining, isn't it? Looks like a beautiful day out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Mild winds, 60-degree weather. You know, we're looking forward to a great weekend down in Waco, Texas. Waco, a great disc golf hub in the United States, well known now, especially because of this Disc Golf Pro Tour event coming. But it's got great disc golf and a great supporting community, and it does take an army to put on an event, as we mentioned. So, you know, big shout out to the Waco disc golf community there as we watch Brianna lining up a putt here. Looks like this is right around inside circle's edge. She's dealing with some water, some standing water, of course, it looks like.
Everything looks so nice and green, so clearly they got some rain. Wow, that is a great start there. Under pressure, Brianna throws it in with her back foot and a little bit of water. That's tough to do, to get enough power behind that, but that was a huge putt. That was very nice.
Yeah, it's good to get the putter going early in a tournament. It's so important for scoring. You know, you could be throwing great and just not able to put the disc in the basket. Those days are really hard. So for Brianna, being on a feature card like this, that must be a good way to shake the nerves to kick things off.
Exactly. Got to get on the board, get the momentum going.
All right. We see the rest of our feature card here cleaning up on hole 2.
That was Sarah Hokum for a birdie on hole 2. Again, it's a par 4, so that was a 3 for Sarah. We saw Paige Bjerkes card a birdie as well. So these ladies are off and firing, and I think that's what we're going to see a lot of. There's a lot of par 4s, there's a couple par 5s, and birdie opportunities are there as long as you can stay in the fairway. So we're going to see a lot of blue on this UDIS Live app. So follow along. We're following along too. This is a great way to see these players attack this course.
Yeah, and speaking of following along, we have mentioned that there are other groups out on the course, and we're catching the action partway through here, and we're going to be following this feature card for their entirety of their round. But Christina Lynchcomb is off to a hot start here. She's 3 down and tied for first with Vanessa Van Dyken. Those 2 leaders are already being chased down by Paige Bjerkes, who has birdied the second hole that we saw there, and is off to a 2-for-2 start. Great way to start this event. Already got one big event under her belt, and off to a good start here. Looks like she's live on the tee here and attacking hole 3. What do we got for hole 3 here, Val?
Hole 3 is 294 feet, and we'll see. It's about choosing your line. And, you know, we're not really in the tight woods yet, so there's plenty of choices you can make off the tee.
Yeah, at 294 feet, it's attackable as we see Paige throw a clean line and right next to the basket. Great shot.
That was perfect. As long as you could pick your line, commit to it, you're going to park the basket just like that.
Yeah, and it looks like Paige picked the line pretty straight to a hyzer fade. At 294 feet, you think she's throwing a mid-range fairway driver there?
Mid-range fairway driver. I like that term. Yeah, I would say it's a fairway driver.
Probably a fairway driver. We see Sarah Hokum throwing backhand. It looks great.
That was really nice. Watching the coverage from the last year, we saw Sarah bust out a few backhands. So as I said, mainly a forehand thrower, but it's nice to see she's got all the throws in the game.
She's been working hard on it. It looked like that shot got caught up in the trees right around the circle's edge as we go to Brianna. Looks like a nice pull off the tee.
Nice.
And she snuck through the trees that are guarding the basket there, whereas Sarah, it looked like, got held up. Looks like she's going to be inside the circle for another look at birdie as we watch Paige Pierce. A little high.
Little high off the bat. I think she's going to be short on that. Having to make a putt. As we can see, the elevated basket come into play. We're back with the elevated baskets. We saw tons of that at the Memorial. And we're going to see a few elevated baskets here. Not the pyramid. It's more of the barrel-shaped elevated basket. We got to come up with terms for these elevated baskets. I don't know.
We probably should, but it does bring in a degree of difficulty. As we know, if you miss a putt on an elevated basket, usually it's a longer comeback putt. And, unfortunately, Paige Pierce is not going to have a putt for birdie here. She got knocked down early. She's looking to chip up. Her approach is going to hopefully be right next to the basket because she's gotten off to a tough start. She's got a bogey 4 on the first, bogey 5 on the second, whereas we already see a 4-stroke lead over Paige Pierce for Paige Bjerkes. And these 2 pages, I've already kind of set the stage as a battle for the year. So this is a interesting barometer as we watch Paige go for her upshot here.
Yep, and that's about all you can do. You kind of have to just surrender, lay it up under the basket. That's a nice shot there. We can see the wind is blowing. We can see that flag ripping. It says it's only 10 miles an hour right now, coming from the northwest, as UDisc says. But we'll see if the wind comes into the trees in the woods there. But in the open, the wind is coming into play. So when these ladies are making their putts, we'll see Sarah Hokum trying to go for that with a lot of wind in her face.
Yeah, absolutely. And over the course of last year's event at Waco, we saw the wind come into play on the final day. There's a lot of short putts that were missed. It was challenging putting conditions, and the course itself has a nature to even if the wind speeds are mild, it'll gust. As we watch Sarah lining up this putt, you think she's giving this a full run, Val?
Looks like it. I like that setup here.
Unbelievable. It hits the rim, kind of did the toilet bowl effect out the back left. That's kind of heartbreaking, but it kind of lets you know she's at least on target, dialed in. Maybe she can build on that putt.
Yeah, we can see Brianna's skirt blowing in the wind, so the wind is coming right at them, and it's tough with the elevated basket.
Yeah.
She's feeling solid with that putter. That was a great putt for a 2, for another birdie. That's 2 in a row for Brianna Ainsley.
Yeah, and how important are these early putts in a tournament to get going on, or in a round, Val? You know, you've been out there, you have a lot of experience. Ooh, as we see a putt off the band for Paige Pierce, not able to convert her par, and stays on the bogey train here through the first 3 holes. How important are these early putts?
I think every shot is so important at the beginning of the round. You don't want to be off to a bad start. Sometimes I'm throwing my first putt and I don't really know what my hand's going to do. You know, it's still in the morning.
Good, how are you?
You practice in the field, you've done your putting practice, but you just don't know if your mind's connected to your hand just yet. And especially on a feature card like this, cameras following you around, you just don't know what's going to happen. But you get into the groove those first couple of holes, and we see Paige Bjerkes is definitely in that groove. 3 for 3. Great start for her.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a short putt early. Get the player right into the confidence of seeing that putt go in, as we saw just a great drive from Paige, a tap in. We saw Sarah clean it up, and we saw Paige Pierce fall one more stroke with a bogey as we move on to hole 3.
Yeah, that's a tough start for Paige Pierce. Man, I gotta be careful when I'm.
Yeah, the 2 pages can be tricky. But I'm sorry, I misspoke before. We're moving on to hole 4. It's 441 feet. Val, what can you tell us about it?
Here we go. We're getting into the woods. You can see the trees are coming in on either side here. It is a tunnel shot. You want to have your drive land off to the left, and we're going to see a lot of placement shots. There's going to be tons of strategies. To land in the middle of the fairway is going to be crucial. The next shot you're going to have to throw is a Anheuser up shot to the basket, and it's a fast green toward the river. So in previous years, we've seen a lot of dirt around the basket. So we've seen that, you know, landing a nice soft up shot is going to be crucial, especially on a shot like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And as many viewers of the Disc Golf Pro Tour know, and fans of the game, this course starts really showing its teeth right here. It's got some gnarly holes, some very tight woods, something that you might not, assimilate with Texas, but it's here and it's a challenge. And it's part of why they call this course the Beast, because it is so tight, it is so challenging, and it's huge stroke swings are possible on these holes, as we see Paige Bjerkes lining up, trying to continue her birdie streak here on the tee. This tee shot's pretty crucial here.
And she has let her hair down. So we're ready to see this happen. You have to land in the middle of the fairway. Otherwise, I see a lot of players pitching out. So this is going to be so important for them to be accurate and get down the fairway with a little bit of distance.
And Brianna's next on the tee after 2 birdies. And it looks like she's hit the middle of the fairway. We're not able to see where the disc landing here in studio, so we're just judging a little bit off player reactions here. And it looks like Paige and Brianna are pretty happy with their tee shots, as we see Sarah teeing off here.
Another backhand from Sarah. Not too stoked about it.
Not too pleased. And the play here is a hyzer. You got to get it out to that tree right there in the middle. Usually you want to go inside of that. If you go outside, it's tough to beat the bushes on the right side. So we're going to see Paige here trying to just graze the inside of that tree in the middle of the fairway and hopefully keep her disc in the middle of the fairway. There we go. So we got the catch cam there, and Paige Pierce is off the tee. That must be a bit of a relief after starting with the rough go of it. And she's really looking to get off that bogey train. The sooner the better. There's a lot of golf, but it's only 3 rounds. And with Paige Bjerkes starting with 3 birdies and Pierce starting with 3 bogeys, it's already a 6-stroke gap. And as we said, these two have been, 2 of the top players and really 2 to watch. Sarah Hokom is in that mix. She's 1 down. As we look at Brianna Ashley, 1 down as well. But the discrepancy between the 2 pages off the bat is already a story that we're going to want to keep our eyes on. And the sooner the better for Paige Pierce to get off this bogey train.
Exactly. And we saw last year strokes being handed back and forth and back and forth. When you're in the woods, you just never know what's going to happen. Never know what tree's going to jump out and want to grab your disc.
Yeah, it's a good point, Val. And it kind of harkens back to the start of the last round at Waco last year where Sarah had a 6-stroke lead over Paige Pierce. So there's plenty of holes, plenty of time as we see Paige Bjerkes just pitching out. This is a little indicative of that rough. Very challenging. And sometimes this is the hardest shot in disc golf, just the pitch out.
Yes, sometimes you have no choice but to pitch out, and it looks like she had no choice but to land right in the middle of the fairway. But it is still about strategy, making sure you're still not butted up to a tree on that, even on that little pitch out.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times, you see players being a little flippant with those pitch outs. They're not too happy to be in the woods. They don't think about placement. And it was good to see Paige really focus and hit her spot as we see Sarah stretching out for a forehand. Of course, forehands are her specialty. It's going to be great to see what she can do with this. She's behind the tree, she's stretching out. She's trying to work it right to left here. It looks like a good line.
Really taking her time there. The forehand shot in the woods, as we saw, Jeremy Colling is the men's champion from last year. With a forehand, you're able to see the line you're throwing the entire time. While as a backhand, you have to turn backwards. So you lose sight of the fairway for that split second. So forehands in the woods are really, really great for hitting that exact shot. And that's the shot you want to have. It's a left to right shot, up shot toward the basket. And Sarah Hokom's got all the shots in the bag, like I said. So here we go with Paige Bjerkes.
Yeah, and that looks like a nice up shot, putting herself potentially in range to save a par. But the birdie streak's over. It was nice while it lasted. It's tough to keep streaks like that going. However, last year, one notable occurrence at the Waco on the MPO side is Paul McBeth's 10 down through 9 holes in the second round. That vaulted him to the lead, and I know anybody who was following the Waco action last year, there were tweets, posts, people going crazy wondering if he was going to put something really special together. Of course, he didn't quite do anything like he did at D-Glow last year with the 18 down round, but 10 down through 9 is incredible as we watch Brianna throwing her shot, going high with an overhand shot.
And that's a good play. You can get that fade to the right where what she needs to do. And you see a lot of overhand shots, and they do land straight where you want them. I mean, it's tough with the trees. You got to practice that shot to really know what you're doing.
All right, and Paige Pierce looks like she's approaching her up shot, going with a forehand. She's worked on her forehand game. Is there any interest that in developing a forehand for Paige that over the years you've seen happen, Val, for Paige, because she's known as a primarily like a big bomber backhand thrower.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all been forced to throw different shots. You know, when you get stuck in those situations, you got to work with what you got. And I know in the off season, she's really been trying to dial in that sidearm, and we're gonna see it put to the test here, which is super fun. I'm primarily backhand thrower, but if I get stuck in that situation, I'm gonna need to throw a sidearm, and I'm gonna hope that I can do it well. So it's always important to practice all the shots, even if you're not the best at it. You might need it someday, and
Yeah.
looks like Paige needs it right here.
Yeah, and we're not sure where that ended. But it looked like it was on a good line out of her hand. So we'll catch up and get the exact location on that. Hopefully, she's got a putt and can turn around this start with a birdie putt.
Yeah, get off that bogey train. Yeah, we can see that fast green.
Yeah, a lot of the grass is worn. Of course, in the woods on any disc golf course, it's hard to keep lush fairway grass. As a course designer and course builder, I'm well aware of that. And there are some really nice grassy fairways here at Waco. This hole has water back right around the green, so as discs come in, if they are skipping, that water comes into play. It is an OB hazard as we watch Brianna looking to just chip out of the woods here. It's going to be challenging for her to get it all the way up to the green, and it looks like she didn't quite do that.
And this is the Brazos River running alongside that. So if you throw your disc in there, I'm not sure you're getting it back. So you don't want to be doing that with your favorite putter, your favorite mid-range disc.
It does come into play on a few of these holes as we watch Sarah Hokum try to line up her shot. She's taking a peek at the green. When you're in a tough position, Val, how important it is to do what Sarah's doing, which is, kind of take your time and line it up.
Oh yeah, it's huge, especially if you're not in the most ideal spot. You don't want to just hunker down, go in the woods and try and figure it out. You need to go up there, size up the basket, size up all the obstacles in your way. And we see Sarah trying to hit the line that she already scoped out here.
She's going with a forehand.
Man, we're going to see a lot of these tricky little shots out of the woods.
Yeah.
It's fun to see this angle right here to see which line she's going for.
Yeah, she went from the left side of the fairway to the right side. Now she's trying to punch out and try to give herself a putt at par. Taking her time as we saw. And it's out of her hand. And it looks like she punched it out. And should be looking at a long putt.
And we know Sarah's a good putter, so that'll be fun to watch. And catching up, we're seeing Christina Linthicum still killing it. She's still at 3 down. It's so fun to see this UDisc live and see all the scores coming in and seeing how these ladies are attacking the woods holes. Christina is now on hole 8.
Yeah, and Brianna, here she is lining it up. She's looking for a longer look here for 4.
Style pose.
And as we mentioned, the first 3 holes, a lot different than this hole. We came in to hole 4 with a little bit more open, and the course will wind its way back into kind of more that park setting. But as it is with many disc golf courses and parks, you use some of the open ground when you design it, but then you get into some of the sides, which are a little thicker, and you can carve out, your own fairways. Where we are on hole 4 here, that's exactly what's going on as we watch Sarah Hokum lining up a circle 2 putt. How's Sarah's putting been so far this season? It's usually hot or cold, but when she gets on, she can really start stringing it together.
Well, we're going to see right here. Let's see how she's feeling. There we go. Sarah, it is back and forth. But as we all know, putting is such a mental strain. You know, you got to build that confidence early. We saw her run in at a few putts in those first couple of holes. You just got to get into that rhythm. You got to feel it. You got to reach. But that was really big. She wasn't able to fully extend. She's way outside the circle two there.
Yeah, and it's a scary green to run at. We know that it falls away to the river behind it. So, good layup, really.
Yes. And it's nice. I see a lot of people following this lead card. They teed off at 10 a.m. local time. And so it's nice to see there's some spectators out there watching the action live.
Yeah, and after Paige Bierkis's layup, here's Paige Pierce.
These are scary little putts here. We talked about that fast green. The river's off to Brianna's right hand shoulder, just off to the side. So the basket is slightly on a side hill. Feeling confident. That was very nice. Even though, you know, these are shorter putts, kind of tester putts, that scary roll away is always in the back of your mind.
And Sarah makes her tap in. There we go. Unfortunately, that was for a bogey. And Paige Pierce is looking to clean up her par. And Paige Bierkis with her bogey tap in coming up as well. So very interesting hole 4. Actually, quite the change of dynamics on this 4th hole. We got Paige Bierkis going from 3 birdies to a bogey, and then Sarah Hokom with a bogey falling back to even. Brianna finding some struggles with her double, and then Paige Pierce rights the ship a little and gets back on to track with a par. So here we have it. Paige Bierkis at 2 down. She's still tied for the lead now with Vanessa Van Dyken and Callie Moran. We also have Sarah Hokom a little bit right behind them at even par, but a 3-way tie for the lead. Paige Bierkis with the bogey falling back into that tie as we move on. And we're going to head to hole 5. And as we do so, just a big thanks to Dynamic Discs. We've got, hole 5, which is a very gettable par 3. This is what they call the step hole. There's or tiers. So they've got 3 separate tiers where you tee off from that mid-level tier, and then of course the green.
Yes. Yes. So this hole is just 264 feet, but it is extremely uphill. It's not an elevated basket, but it is. You talked about the tiers here, and I think it's so important for these players to miss all the trees to start, but to be on that top tier or at least get a run at the basket. This is a great birdie opportunity for them, and especially after that long par 4 they just played, good opportunity to clean up a few strokes here. And with that par, Paige Pierce is first on the tee.
Like it's down the right side. The great pull, skips up. Yeah, what a great shot from Paige Pierce. That is officially off the bogey train with a par, and now birdie putt inside circle 1. Great shot for Paige. Really starting to feel the momentum change here. Let's see if Paige Bierkis can respond. Hugging that right side as well. Looks like it's down a little bit lower. I don't know if she got all the way up to the top of that tier.
And this is a tough shot. I said it's only 264 feet, but it is uphill. So it's going to play a lot longer than that. I'd say maybe 320 feet, 350. So these ladies have to give it all the power they can. I would say this is probably a fairway driver shot to make it up the hill. But accuracy, again, is so important. So power and accuracy we're going to see a fine balance here today.
Yeah, and you can attack this with a backhand or a forehand, as we saw Sarah Hokum throw the forehand, and Brianna stepping up for a backhand approach. This is a great hole. You can approach it either way. There are obstacles. You see Brianna off the tee.
Another nice shot, playing it in the middle of the fairway. And they're off on hole 5. Man, you said, we don't see too many trees here in Texas. We don't see a ton of elevation in Texas too, but this course has it all. So I think this is such a challenging course, and they call it the Beast, but B East, Brazos East.
Yeah, put it all together.
They're really good with their words here. I mean.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they have the best words, as many people would say. So as we approach the green here, we're going to see probably Paige Bierkes first. Looks like her and Brianna are about the same distance out, probably around the edge of circle 2, as we saw Bierkes get knocked down on the right side. And yeah. Looks like it got a decent gallery for the morning over there at Waco, as we see the crowd filtering in behind.
Yeah, this is nice to see them gathering up. 3 players on this card are definitely used to the crowds here. Brianna is on that pedestal as the newbie, as the rookie on this featured card, but she's holding strong, and it's really nice to see. So
yeah, so then it does look like she's up first here. So here she is from probably around circle's edge. It's the second, yeah. And she puts it up next to the basket, and she'll have her pretty simple tap in par there.
Yeah, this is just so important to capitalize when you can, but you just can't force it to happen. Again, you never know what's going to happen on these hilly shots. You don't know if it's going to roll or not. But we see Paige Bierkes here. Looks like she's lining it up there. Has a little cabbage to get through. What you call it? Cabbage? Roughage?
Cabbage or shul. Sure. Within there she goes with a step through. Not quite hitting her target there, but she's going to be in range for another par. And yeah, we're stepping up to Sarah, who's inside the circle, and then Paige Pierce. So let's see if Sarah can convert here. She's been up and down a little bit with 2 pars, a bogey, and a birdie. It'd be great for her to hit this inside the circle putt.
And not quite there. You can see Sarah really has a routine, and she sticks to it. It's a very methodical setup. She gets into her zone there, and we're going to see this every time. And I think that's so important for any player to develop that type of routine. And, you're practicing this routine, in your backyard. And so I feel like that's what I feel like she sets up. She feels like she's getting into her zone. This is just like what I've done every time. And unfortunately, that was a short miss there off the band. But
yeah, as we see Paige Bierkes clean up her par and Paige Pierce tap in her birdie, really swinging the tides here early from that tough start. Brianna getting tapped in for her par as well. And here's Sarah Hokum for a par. So 3 pars and a bogey here at the 5th hole. I know that some of the competitors would have liked to birdie that hole, and that routine you speak of really helps players get back into rhythm. Is that right, Val? The routine, she's missed a putt, but hopefully that won't affect her going forward.
Let's hope not. She's been back and forth all day, but as we see somebody jumping off of that bogey train with that solo birdie on that hole, Paige Pierce is getting into her rhythm again.
Yeah. And so we're moving on to hole 6. Tell us a little bit about this. About the same distance as hole 5. What's the play on hole 6?
Well, forehand or Annie shot. just don't want to skip in the rough again. We're still in the woods. You know, it's tight on either side. So we're going to see. Looks like Paige is lining up that backhand, even though we saw her throw a forehand. She does have a nice rounding Anheuser shot.
So we're looking for this to move left to right. And that backhand play does eliminate a little bit of the skip potential. Is that right?
Exactly. Landing in the fairway is good.
It's so fun to throw in the woods.
It looks like she's made her way down there, catching a little bit of tree at the end. And the main key on this hole is really hitting that first tunnel. You could get a 4 if you get knocked down early. Paige made it through most of the way there, but you really want to get through that first tunnel and then let it filter down to the right. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of shul or cabbage around the green. Paige Bierkes, after that hot start, really probably would like to see a 2 here, right? And she's going backhand. Does she have a strong forehand yet, or is she still working on it?
I don't know if I've ever seen her throw a forehand. She might be forced to throw a forehand this weekend, but we'll see. Backhand here.
I've seen a few from her, but yeah, it's definitely the backhand strength of her game. Looks like she's early left on that one. So she's going to have to scramble for her par. And here's Sarah Hokum. And unsurprisingly, she's going to the forehand here. This hole is really tailor-made for her, as you know, the Annie play is a little more challenging to execute. That looks great.
The basket sits down into a little bit of a bowl here. So yeah, I think that was a great shot. But yep, fast greens again. You know, those baskets right around the basket, it gets really worn down from all the people playing the courses. So that forehand, it's coming in hot.
In hot. Brianna looks like she's got off the tee okay, challenging that right side, and yeah, she got knocked down. So yeah, the competitors are off the tee, headed to their lie. It looks like we've got a birdie opportunity and a couple folks that are going to be scrambling. And again, great shot from Sarah off the tee there. And rebound.
And you said scramble, and it made my mind immediately think of UDisc Live and all the stats that they have. And it's going to be fun to watch the scramble rates this weekend. We get to watch fairway hits. We get to see all the putts they're hitting for Circle 1, Circle 2. There's the Circle 1X now. That's a new stat. But scramble rates. I think the players that are going to be playing the best and saving themselves, even if they end up in that shul, the scramble rates are going to be high out here with the fairways being so narrow on, I'd say, 75% of the holes out here. So that's going to be fun to follow this weekend and see how it all ends up. But I think putting is going to be crucial. You know, scrambling and putting, you can save yourself from a lot of errant shots.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Paige Bierkes here.
Look at Paige. She's getting warmed up, getting that putting stroke going.
She's going to have a bit at it as we watch Brianna from distance, looking to maybe strike some gold.
Got it.
Oh my, there we go. That is exciting. Huge confidence builder there for Brianna. Showing off for the crowd. That is awesome to do. That's that feeling right there. She's elated. She is so stoked.
Absolutely. And what a strike from distance. She was lining it up, and it seemed like she was in the zone, and boom. That's great. And,
70 feet we're seeing on UDisc Live. That's huge.
Outside circle 2. Had a little Annie on the putt. Just really, really well done. Great to see a hit from that distance, especially from someone who's not accompanied and used to the lead card and the feature card. So let's get a little closer here and see if our competitors can finish off some other great putts to finish hole 6.
Man, we're just going to see a 2 on the card for her, but she fought for that one.
Yeah. And here's Pierce looking to step through and really following her line, walking that line down and really envisioning. I mean, envisionment is so key and such a big part of putting. You got to see that line, envision the disc going into the chains. It's a big part as we see Paige Pierce try to hit this step through. Look at that! Look at that flexibility.
Nice, babe.
Boom. And following it up there from circle 2, Paige Pierce cashes that putt. That's huge. That is huge to follow up. Brianna set the bar there, and Paige was there to follow. 2 huge putts.
Man, you got to be wondering what Sarah's thinking now. She's got to straddle out. She's having to take a knee, and she just saw 2 huge putts canned in front of her. She thought probably she was in the best position on this hole. Does that get into your head if you get big putted like that, Val?
I don't know. We'll see if Sarah can get back into that rhythm, but you want to hit that putt just as bad.
Yeah, I suppose you just got to block it out. But, we see it from time to time when a competitor hits a bigger putt and then you step up, that can affect your mental state. And let's see if it does for Sarah.
We've seen her miss these short putts already. Doesn't get into that momentum. Yeah. It's all in her head right now.
Yeah, it was a challenging putt with the straddle out, but it's disappointing to throw the best drive, kind of be stuck behind a bush, and then see 2 competitors hit long putts. Oh, and we see a band from Paige Pierce. She taps out for a par as we see Sarah do the same. What an exciting hole that was. Man, Brianna and Paige Pierce with the worst drives, but the biggest putt. And this is a little bit about what we talked about before the broadcast started is how important putting is, because you can be throwing great all day. We saw Sarah inside the circle on her last 2 drives, not able to convert.
Yeah, strokes swinging and being handed back and forth. That was a bogey for Paige Pierce. But, I don't know if she took that for granted or not. But here we are on hole 7. It is 462 feet. We're back with another par 4. There's a Mando where the players have to throw right of the tree. But we're going to see behind the tee, it is a tunnel right off the bat. And you basically just want to clear that, land in the opening, give yourself a look over to the basket. Again, landing in the fairway is good. And this is the Savage hole. It is sponsored by Savage Ultimate. And do you know what Savage means in Ultimate?
What does it mean, Val?
Well, they're sponsoring hole 7, and having 7 players on an Ultimate team means you have no alternates. So you are going full out the entire game. There's nobody to back you up. So thank you to Savage Ultimate for sponsoring hole 7 all throughout the Disc Golf Pro Tour events. And we're going to see how savage this hole plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Big thanks to Savage Ultimate for being a proud supporter of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. As we watch Paige Pierce stepping up to the tee on this par 4. And again, off the tee, the players are really just making sure that they're not going to miss the Mando, because that can cause a lot of strokes to pile up quickly.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Mandos in the fairway, or in the trees here, just basically forcing them to throw down the fairway, which is ultimately the
still back.
Get it? Oh, I didn't mean that on purpose. I'm trying to be funny. But the Mandos do force the players to play down the open fairway, maybe preventing them from going over the road or this or that. But it's tough to see Mandos in the trees.
Yeah, and this one's not too hard to hit, but it is a tight hole. They want to punch this out into a bigger fairway. This hole is a hole that people try to maybe get an eagle on, especially on the MPO side. Paige is maybe one of the players on the FPO side that could be able to get a 2, but usually the route for a 2 on this hole is a big flex forehand going right to left. There's a little ditch before the green, and then it goes up to the basket. So this is a scoring hole for these ladies. They want to throw a hyzer out
Are you talking to me?
into that opening and then attack the green.
You said going for a 2, but it will be a 3 for a birdie on this one. It is all about placement on this first shot, giving yourself that look across that valley.
Yeah, the 2 being the eagle. We saw
Ooh.
some of the MPO look for the eagle play on this hole last year.
Dang,
Yeah.
that sounds nice.
And it looks like Paige got out there.
Mike, as well.
A little weight on the tee. We saw Nate Perkins following this card as we see Brianna step up to the tee to hit this guy. Looks like she caught a little bit of the right side there. We'll have to see how that lie ends up.
For me, I would like to land out into that opening a little to the left, but we might see Sarah Hokum trying to hug that right-hand side so she can follow it up with a second forehand for her upshot. But forehand off the tee, hoping to land in the fairway here.
Yeah, she's definitely playing flex right to left and hopefully finishing back to the right. Switch to camera 2 here, and it looks like it's out in the fairway. She should have a good look up to the green. Again, a little bit on the shorter side for a par 4, as long as you punch it out there. 462 is reachable. If we see Paige Bierkes, who's on the tee now, throwing an open field, she could probably crank it up to that distance, but she just throws a nice hyzer. She's out in the middle. She's setting herself up, and that's nice because she had a challenge last hole with the tough putt, and it looks like she should be back on track here if she can throw a good upshot.
And if we were to see from the overview, it's a dog leg shot. So these ladies are placing it out into that opening, and then basically from that tee box, it is a right 90-degree turn. So landing in that perfect spot to give you a good angle at the basket for your upshot is really important.
Yeah, and the key is really just getting out that first tunnel, right to left, landing in that opening, and then having a look at the green. And so that right side is challenging. We saw Paige Bierkes catch it just a little bit, and it looks like there's the green. We can see the basket looking back at that fairway. Does have this steep ditch right in front of it. So even if you put it in that ditch, you'll have a putt. You would ideally like to get up the other side. And I think going too long here isn't too much of a problem. Over the last few years, we haven't really seen people have trouble going long here. It's more hitting the hill, rolling back, as we see Brianna lining up her approach shot.
There we go. Look like a placement shot for her. Wow, we can see the wind. Look at that flag blowing.
Yeah, the wind's picking up, as we mentioned. Predicted 10 to 15 mile per hour winds, but it can pick up, and even 10 mile an hour winds can be challenging in disc golf. And it's blustery, so it depends on which holes they're going to be on. Definitely the back 9 is a little bit more open, and we can see a little bit more wind affected shots and putts as we've gotten out here to Paige Bierkes'.
So she's in a good position here. These shots are so fun. I kind of like being forced to throw a specific line.
Great shot by Bierkes, and she's going to have a putt for birdie. Hopefully get the ship righted after 2 bogeys in the last 3 holes.
And as I was saying, when you have to focus on being so accurate and throwing between a few trees, throwing a specific route, I just think that's fun mentally. I mean, it has that just heightened level of challenge, and players really have to zone it in here. They're in the mode to hit the shots they need to, and it's fun. Every player is basically playing a different course depending on where you land.
And Brianna's upshot looks like it has settled in the bottom of the hill. And we'll move on over to looks like probably Sarah Hokum next. She had that nice flex forehand out of the gap. It looks like No, here we're moving on to Paige Pierce. She pulled it a little right. If we punched through there, picking up her disc quickly.
Yeah, it looked like it was such an easy shot. I mean, she threw that so lightly. Maybe she needed a little more punch on that, but she might have taken that shot for granted.
Yeah. And, as we follow the broadcast here in the studio, we are having a little bit of trouble getting a clear view of the live feed. So we are a little bit guessing at some of the shots and how they finish. We know that the Paige, it looks like her shot did finish in the shul. That's why she picked up so quickly there. And we can see the competitors headed up towards the green now.
And this is your first live commentary, am I correct?
That's right. Yes, I've commentated on a number of disc golf videos, mostly around the Smuggler's Notch courses and the events that we have there. But I love to do it, and I'm excited to be here with you in the studio, Val. It's been fun already, and I really look forward to seeing the Waco Charity Open unfold.
And I'm a seasoned veteran. I have one event under my belt, so we are rolling with the punches. That's what live coverage is. But it's awesome to see the live coverage of both the men and the women. And so thank you to the Disc Golf Pro Tour for bringing the live coverage to you guys. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope we're working through the technical difficulties. But it's going to be a long weekend and a lot of learning for both of us. But it'll be fun.
Yeah, we see the crowd watching some of the putts here on the green. And as we watch these players try to cash out, we should note that Vanessa Van Dyken has taken a 2-stroke lead. She's been a little bit up and down, and it looks like that's going to be the story of today for the FPO division. Lots of birdies, lots of bogeys. Let's see if Sarah can cash in on her birdie right here. Going up the hill, up those steps, probably just outside circle 1. Not quite able to hit that one, as we see Paige Pierce coming down to get her putt lined up. Pretty disappointing after a great tee shot like that to catch the trees on the right. It looked like she probably moved a little bit too quickly on that upshot, but she still has a chance to save her birdie and keep her momentum going.
Yeah, see, yeah, she is tucked in there. Hopefully she can find a line to the basket. It's nice to be up there looking at this birdie run. It's tough though. I mean, you got the hills, you're throwing uphill, trying to give it a go, but I guess with nothing to scare you behind the basket, you might as well go for it. And as we see, Paige Pierce lines up a lot of these shots. You never know if she's going to go for it or not. And that gave it a good run. We see her back in the woods still practicing that shot. So she had a good opportunity to save that birdie from the rough there.
Yeah, I did it with my left arm on the way down to make sure.
And as we see everybody tapping out here, Brianna with her 5, Paige with her 4, and then of course Paige Bierkes shifting the script here, back on the birdie train. We started talking about the starts of the Pages, Paige Bierkes and Paige Pierce. 3 birdies for Bierkes, 3 bogeys for Pierce to start. And then, boom, it switched from a 6-stroke lead to a 2-stroke lead, and now Bierkes is back. So, this course and these players are going to be back and forth all week, it looks like. Paige Bierkes is now back into second alone. She's 2 down, and we see a familiar name in third place, all alone, Kat Allen. She's 1 down. All still chasing Vanessa Van Dyken, who's 3 down and in the lead, as our feature card moves on to hole 8. This is the shortest hole. Tell us a little bit about hole 8, Val.
Shortest hole in the course. It's 213 feet, dead straight. The basket slopes to the right. It's another dirt green, so it is playing fast. So you got to make sure you're throwing your disc at the right speed and the right angle to land and nestle up next to that basket. Good birdie opportunity. Looks wide open compared to some of the shots we've been throwing this round so far.
Yeah, and it's probably looking a little bit more wide open because it's short, but it is tight, and it looks like Paige Bierkes had a good tee shot off of the tee, as we see Paige Pierce lining up her shot, looking to put something inside circle one here.
That's a nice, smooth shot from her. She's so good at controlling mid-ranges, putters.
And she did get knocked down.
But she'll get up again.
She'll get up again. And here we are with Sarah Hokom with the forehand. Sometimes it's nice to be able to throw a forehand in tighter situations. You can see the line, throw it right down it. You're not turning at all away from the hole. And it looks like a pretty solid shot from Sarah. She's happy with it. Choosing the forehand. That's one of the first ones we've seen from her. It looks like she went down that left side, but kicked out and should have a putt.
That's nice. Yeah, it's all about strategy. You got to stick to your game, and she liked that left-hand side, so she's sticking with the forehand route there. And we're getting a close-up. Can we call this couples cam?
Definitely call it couples cam. We got Grady Shue and Paige Bierkes. One of the known disc golf couples now, as they, I believe, just got engaged.
They did, yeah. That was exciting news to see pop up on Facebook. And they are traveling together. We saw Paige working through the off-season, converting a Sprinter van.
Yep.
So she's joining the caravan of Sprinter vans out there, and all decked out.
Yeah.
Dynamic Disc did a great job coming up with the art. And yeah, it's great to see so many of these top women buying their own touring vehicles, hitting the road, and traveling around the country. It's so fun to see, and Paige Pierce is one of them. She has her own van decked out with her name and Dynamic Disc on the side too.
And her upshot out of the woods, she wasn't able to make it. Looks like she should have an easy par there, but the Sprinter van revolution, would you say that you were part of that trend, starting that trend? I mean, you and Nate have had a Sprinter van for a long time, and through the last years of your career when you guys were traveling around, that's what you were using.
Yeah, we loved it. It's a great way to travel. Back in the day, it was all about RVs.
Yeah.
And when you find out what gas guzzlers RVs are, it doesn't become the great vehicle for driving as much as we do when we're out on tour. So we actually saw Matt Peckham. He was one of the first ones to have a Sprinter van, and that was the first time it hit the scene, and we're like, that is the perfect vehicle. So after Nate won his Worlds in Santa Cruz 2011, we purchased the van, immediately converted it, hit the road, and our first stop was Vermont. So California to Vermont. So that was a fun, exciting trip. But
it's a great way to break it in for sure. And we saw Brianna miss her outside the circle putt, and here's Paige Bierkes coming back for her birdie. Let's see if she can convert here.
boom. There we go. Back on the birdie train. You're back up too?
Hair back up. It's been going up and down, just like her scores this round. So yeah, but that was a great putt, great birdie from Paige, and that's 2 in a row, and that brings her back up into a tie for first with Vanessa Van Dyken, as we see Sarah Hokom, who was closest off her drive, try to convert her birdie. This would be a great putt for her to get, because we know that she's been struggling with the putter to start off this round, and hopefully she doesn't get big putted by Paige Bierkes here, as Paige has hit a big putt. The struggles continue for Sarah. She's really just going to have to find that putter, because she's playing well. She's throwing the disc well, and just really needs to convert. And this is turning into a big putt here to save her par from Paige Pierce. No problems there. Paige has gone up and down with the putter, and usually if her putter's on, she's incredibly difficult to beat. She's one of the best female throwers of the disc, or throwers in general in the world. And she's gone up and down with her putter. It's usually on, and it's good to see her able to put something right in the heart. She's cleaning up a putt like that, as we see Brianna do the same. So that's our shortest hole. The ladies have gone one down on it. At least we didn't see any damage there. No bogeys. Paige Bierkes with the sole birdie, tying Vanessa Van Dyken, who is 3 holes ahead of her for the lead. As we come up to the last hole on this front 9, it is a par 5. It is super tight, and it is hole 9. So as we walk over, Val, what are we going to see? This is a short hole, 519 for par 5. How is this par 5 at 519?
It's tight. We're gonna see another, fully tunneled fairway. We got the rough on both sides, so it's not super long, but it is all about landing in the right spot. And we're gonna see players aiming for the landing zone straight ahead, but hopefully getting down the hill, and it'll give you a look at the basket. It's a par 5, so you could get on the struggle bus if you get off the fairway, but hopefully these ladies find themselves right in the middle. I think this is about disc choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is one of the holes where we can see a little bit of a backup. It looks like they're gonna wait for a moment here on the tee, and it's also a hole that an eagle is possible. I think at 519, very tight shot off the tee, and it has a couple bends, but you can get a 3. We've seen the MPO players score 3s on this hole before, and I'm not sure about the FPO if we've carded any eagles on this, but at that distance, it's certainly gettable.
Yeah, getting off the tee is going to be really important. Makes it a lot easier if you get some distance off of the tee pad there. And we talked about a little bit of the struggle bus, but we see Paige Pierce. She's great at overcoming difficulties. She's really good at fixing things immediately. And I know Sarah Hokum too. She has that experience from playing for so long. Her putt might not be on today, but we'll hopefully see her able to overcome that. Again, putting is 90% mental, maybe even higher than that, I'm not sure. But it is, for these experienced players that are on tour, they need to get back into that zone. And maybe this backup right here is allowing Sarah to take a step back, take a little breather, and get her putt back on track. As you said, she's not playing horribly. It's just about getting that putt in the basket.
Yeah, she's keeping a pretty clean sheet with 1 birdie, 1 bogey, even par. As we see the players just kind of killing time with their support systems. Paige Bierkes is there. We mentioned Grady, but we also have Robert McCall there, who is the Dynamic Disc team manager. And he's there supporting his team. It looks like Nate Perkins is out supporting Paige Pierce, and then of course Sarah's got her support system there as well. Is it tough at backups, to keep your focus here, or you just keep it light? Val, what do you think?
Yeah, I mentioned that Sarah might be trying to get in her zone, but it is about keeping it light. You never know how much time you have to kill, how many groups are waiting there. But keeping it light, kind of getting yourself comfortable, casual, grab a snack.
Out of the country?
I think that's what's important, because these ladies, they're concentrating so hard on each and every shot, and this might give them a second to take a break, relax.
All right, and it looks like the tee is clear, and looks like Paige Bierkes is up. And let's see if she can get off the tee. This is a tight one. It's as we said, it's long and windy, so it's really important to be in the middle here. Looks like a long flight, and she's right on the edge of the fairway there. Good start to the hole for Bierkes as we see Paige Pierce step up.
Mhm.
She didn't like that one. Looks like she's hit early. I'm going to have to be in scramble mode from there.
Exactly. And, you know, it can be tough too if you're sitting around for a little bit after you've been kind of speedily playing along the first 8 holes there. Having a little break might throw you off whack, but hopefully Sarah Holcomb isn't off whack here.
And that looks great. She's progressed down the fairway. Looks like she's in a decent position for her next shot. And Brianna's up next, rounding out the card here on the 9th hole, the final hole of the front 9. That looks really nice, flexing out, challenging that left side. A little bit better to be left as it does turn back to the right. So our players are off and running. It looks like we had 3 drives that are doing all right off the tee, and Paige Pierce is going to be scrambling as we see the ups and downs here at Brazos Park East continue. And they really are in the heart of some of the thickness here, with this hole being one of the more challenging holes, but also one of the biggest holes that you could get a swing on.
Yes, and we see tight fairway here, woods on either side, but there's a lot of trees still in the fairway. And so players like that, you have to pick your line. We see Paige reaching out here again, using all the shots in the bag, but trying to maneuver around those trees that are still in the fairway.
And the forehand escape shot looks good. She worked a little right to left, but the nice finish to the right, up the hill towards the basket, looked really nice. And we saw Nate Perkins consulting there with her. Nate's gonna return to the course here at the Waco Charity Annual Invitational, and he was in a playoff last year now with Big Germ, and they tied after 3 rounds and went into a 1-hole playoff. So he knows his course well. It's kind of his home course, being from Texas. He's a local favorite, and I think it was amazing for him last year to play so well, but also a little bit heartbreaking maybe to get all the way to the finish line only to lose in the playoff.
Right, and he has a great forehand, and we see a lot of these shots where you have to finish to the right. So a forehand is really important to have out here. He was battling with Big Germ, who also has a great forehand. But yeah, it was unfortunate he fell short on that first playoff hole. But another forehand player battling for it. Sarah Holcomb has that advantage with a really strong forehand.
She lets it rip.
All right. Okay.
It looks good. It's up near the mouth of the approach to green, and she's going to go from there. Looking at the scores real quickly, Vanessa is through 12, still sitting at 3 down, and looking like she's kind of smooth sailing for the rest of the field. We've seen a lot of bogeys. It is a challenging course, and the first day, last year was challenging as well, and we saw a lot of scores improve after the first day out there, as we see Paige, kind of struggling to find a good lie here in the rough on the right side. One of our early leaders, Callie McMorrin, who is not a touring pro. We don't know too much about Callie, but she got off to a 2-down start through 8. She unfortunately on this hole saw a triple bogey 8 to take her back to even to 1 over. She came back with a birdie and then just had a double bogey. So you can kind of see the ups and downs of our players in the top 10 here early on. We've got other notable names. Ellen Widboom, who's playing well. She's 1 over, and it looks like if you're around par today, you're going to put yourself in the mix going forward, unless one of our leaders here, like Paige Bierkes or Vanessa, really start making moves. At 3 down, so far so good, and I think if
any of our women competitors stay around par, they should be in the mix. How are you feeling like this round is unfolding so far, Val?
It's exciting, like you said. We're up and down and this and that. You never know if 1 inch off the fairway could be detrimental to your entire round. But we're seeing these ladies battle through it. It's a tough course. It's par 67. There are 9 par 4s, 2 par 5s. It's a tough course. So, yeah, I would be so happy with par. And we're seeing these ladies off to a hot start, though, with a couple strokes under par.
Yeah, and it's extremely high par for most disc golf that we see. A lot of the tournament courses are getting higher in par, longer, and just challenging our players, much more as we see Paige Bierkes now. Here's a forehand.
Here we go.
We've been talking a little bit about Paige Bierkes' forehand, and it looks like she's going to break it out right here. But the theme of this hole is try to keep it in the middle, because we've seen a lot of stretch plays, a lot of awkward stances. It looks like Paige is pretty happy with that one. Hair back up, Val.
What's funny? I put myself in Paige's position right there. She hasn't. That was the first forehand of the round for her. And when you're seeing somebody like Sarah Hokom, who is an expert at throwing sidearm shots, I always feel like there's such an added pressure, like I have to show off for her or something. But
Sure.
I think Paige executed that really great for the first forehand shot of the day.
Yeah, and here's another Paige and another forehand. Looks like she's stretching out to get the angle. Lets it rip. And she looks pretty happy with it. This hole is probably the marathon hole of the beast. Because it's so tight, even though it is only 519 feet, it feels and probably looks a lot longer to our viewers. And we want to thank all the Disc Golf Pro Tour viewers tuning into this event. I want to give a big shout out to Dynamic Discs for presenting the Waco Annual Charity Open. It's great to be back in Texas for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, especially this time of year where it can be snowy elsewhere. It's a nice sunny day, a little breezy, and the forehand trend on this hole continues. The forehand's great for escape shots. You can see where you're going, maybe a little bit more accurate to hit those gaps. And Brianna looks like she's choosing between a couple discs here to try to dial up something close to the basket.
Getting creative, getting flexible. It's, again, nice to have a shot like that where you can stick your foot into the rough, but you can still see the fairway and still see where you're throwing.
Yeah. And it's great to see Brianna out and about. As we mentioned, she hit the scene a little bit last year, and she's back this year. Looks like she should enjoy maybe a full touring schedule. She tours around in her old VW bus. I think it's a little tiny bus. I'm not sure exactly, but
Nice.
I saw her traveling around last year. She went to the USDGC to support her Canadian competitor friends, being from Canada, showing a lot of Canadian pride. That forehand didn't work out for her, but she's lining up another one, trying to get up there and nestle something under the basket here.
Little body language there. And actually, my first time playing with Brianna was in Finland. We played together at the European Open. So she has traveled the world playing disc golf. And so that was really fun. I think it was the first round of the European Open a few years back. So, I'm coming from the U.S. expecting to play with a lot of European players. And I got to play with a Canadian player that I had never played with before. And with the women's field being so small, usually you know everybody, but it was fun to play with her. She's a really fun, upbeat competitor.
Sorry. Yeah, and it looks like we have a nice size women's field today. We've got about 23 competitors.
The size of the field has gone up and down through the last couple of years, but we're seeing the women's side of the game grow, and we're happy to be presenting live FPO coverage here. And especially to be with a seasoned veteran with a lot of experience like you, Val.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, it's fun for me to see a lot of these new names at the top of the leaderboard. Excuse me, down in front. But yeah, to see players like Paige Bierkes, she's been playing for a long time, but to see her break through and have a huge win like the World Championships is a great confidence builder. And we're going to keep seeing her name at the top because she's getting that stride. And that's what we need to see the women's field continue to rise to the top, keep putting pressure on players like Sarah Hokum and Paige Pierce, who have been winning tournaments for years and years. So those new names are really fun to see, and it's great to see them live.
Yeah, and as we see Sarah lining up her approach to the green, as you can see, it's a well-protected green at the end of this par 5. Paige Bierkes caught a little bit of the rough on the left, so looks like she'll have a challenging next shot. Sarah going back to the forehand for her approach. Sarah. All right, and she's got it up onto the green. You pan out and see the basket there. Yeah, looks like about 10 feet away, so she hopefully will have no problem squaring that up, and that looks like it's going to be for her par.
Very nice. Yeah, after 3 throws, she's still in the fairway, right next to the basket.
And Paige Pierce with the forehand as well. Buzzing the basket on the right side, but on the green inside the circle, and she should be looking at a very makeable putt as well.
You know, when you see a player like Paige Pierce who doesn't throw a lot of sidearms, she just threw, I think, count them 3 sidearms on this hole. You're not sitting in the right position, so she's not throwing her strongest throw, which is her backhand, but she's making it work and using what she's got.
Yeah, and Brianna with a good approach as well. You know, a lot of the players are using their forehand because it is left to right approach. And this hole reminds us a lot of the par 4 fourth, which is kind of like a mini version of this, where it's tight, it's wooded, there's trees in the fairway. There's a number of turns before you get to the green, and it does bank to the right, right at the end. So a lot of these greens are tricky. They have, you know, slopes, places to skip away into the woods, and it's challenging. You really have to be very intentional with your upshot and place it next to the basket, so you don't want to come in too hot. Paige looks like she's found a bridge.
Yeah, check that out. Going back to the basket. She came in hot. Good upshot. Looked to be pretty clear from the bridge. Maybe that was part of her play.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a bridge kind of adjacent to the green, and she got, you know, kicked over there on that upshot and made good work of it. So all of our players on the green now, hopefully cleaning all this up. We've got a bunch of par putts, so they've made their way down here, kind of chopping back and forth, stepping out, using forehands, and we hope that they are you know, all able to clean this up for their pars.
And first par 5 of the round. I feel like we've been playing this hole for like a half hour. This is a long,
yeah. This
long
is
race
this
to the
is
basket.
one of the holes that makes this course the
Those wipe
beast.
off easy. You need to
Great putt there.
How's it going?
There we go. That could be the confidence builder she needed. I think she played that hole very cleanly. She was in the fairway for the majority of the shots there. Again, par 5. Oh, we see the score. That was a par. She got a 4 on that. She played it so clean.
That was a birdie putt, and Sarah taking advantage of her accuracy and the forehand friendliness of this hole. It's friendly off the tee. That second shot, you know, could go either way, but the approach is certainly a forehand favorable shot, as we see everybody else cleaning up for their pars. And this could be a nice little kickstart for Sarah. You know, on a hole that's so long, kind of really defines your round in some ways. You know, how important is it to finish it off strong?
I'm sure she had a big sigh of relief that she played that so well, making it look easy, but definitely a difficult hole. I mean, that's just the start. We still got so many more tunnel shots left ahead, but yeah, she's very happy with that. And we saw Paige Pierce throw in her par putt there, but Sarah Hokum, only birdie on that one, making the woods look easy.
Absolutely. And we want to welcome any viewers just joining us. I'm Jeff Spring. We're here in the booth
I'm with Val Jenkins, 4-time world champion disc golfer. Thanks for joining me, Val.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I actually haven't played this tournament before, but I've seen lots of coverage, and this is an intimidating course. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, there's going to be some really fun holes on this back nine that we're hitting. But let's give you a quick little recap of the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. We're at Brazos Park East, the Beast course with TD Ryan Draper and his staff doing a great job. The course looks like it's in great shape. As we're looking at the 10th hole here, it is a par 4. It's 491 feet. And just to give a little recap, we've got a feature card of Paige Bierkes, Paige Pierce, Sarah Hokum, and Brianna Ashley. And this group is in the mix. We've got the leader, Paige Bierkes, tied with Vanessa Van Dyken. Vanessa is 3 holes ahead of this group. She's completed hole 13. She's at 3 under, tied with Paige Bierkes. And Paige with a hot 3 down start to the round, with Sarah right behind him at 1 down. We see Brianna Ainsley at 1 over, and then Paige Pierce having a little bit of struggles up and down. She's 2 over, but really we've seen an up and down round, Val. It's really, gonna take shape over, the course of the entire event, coming down to the last day, as we saw huge swings last year.
Yeah, and we're only halfway through here. Hole 10 is 491 feet. We see Sarah Hokum lining up here, first on the tee. It's a shorter tee pad for the women. The men are about 100 feet behind this. It's a par 4. Gives a little more open fairway here, but pick your line and hit it.
All right, and Hokum off the tee with a strong drive. And next up, we have Paige Bierkes on the tee. Her hair's back up. She's tied for the lead, feeling good. Got her support system in place, going on to the back nine.
Oh, good
She's
kick.
challenging that right side, got kicked out into the middle. Should be able to work with that from there. 491. Is this a challenge of distance or accuracy more for the FPO field, Val?
I think at this point, these ladies are excited to get a little bigger fairway here to unleash, but still you have to be so accurate. You can see there's still trees that they have to maneuver around, and
Ground golf time.
you see Brianna ending up on the right-hand side there, but it's still about placement and accuracy. You don't want to be pinned up against that tree for your upshot, but I think on this whole 491 feet, they're able to save their shots. So just land in the fairway again. Most important thing to happen here, and we're gonna see Paige Pierce going for a crush.
Yeah, and this is big for her. A little bit more open, able to utilize. Yeah, and she's crushed this. It's clean. It's down the fairway. She's happy about that. She's had some frustrations, and that was a big shot for her. Starting the back nine. Do you ever reset when you're done half the round? You've played the front nine. Maybe you haven't been doing well. What's your mindset as a competitor, Val, when you're kicking off the new nine? You maybe have struggled.
Yeah, a lot of these holes, we just played a par 5, which probably felt like they played a couple holes in there, but you do have so much golf left, and we are in the first round of a 3-round tournament. There's so much golf left, and I know these ladies are just getting into their groove right now. And as you were mentioning, a lot of these players, as the rounds go on or as the holes go on, they start to get into that routine, and you're playing in this wooded course, so you need to have a different kind of mindset. And so I think as we go on through the weekend, we're going to see even better golf, maybe learning from these experiences and these errors. They're going to want to stay in the fairway, so we're going to see adjustments through the whole weekend.
And on a hole like this, where the FPOT is 100 feet forward, we have a player like Paige Pierce who can absolutely rip. Absolutely one of probably the pound per pound longest thrower maybe in all the game. She's only probably 40 feet away from the basket, so she threw at 450. How many women on tour can throw at 450? Are you
Only Paige Pierce.
only Paige Pierce? Gotcha.
Well, no, we got Jennifer Allen,
Yeah,
a
Jen
crusher.
Allen, sure.
Katrina Allen's a crusher. Especially if you get a little more fairway and you get that opportunity, we're going to see those ladies going for it.
Brianna with a great shot out of there. It's challenging the left side, and she does go into the cabbage on the left, but she hit her initial gap and progressed it up the fairway. So if she can maybe probably do another forehand, step out forehand, get it up by the basket. She could save her par. I think we're going to find Paige Bierkes up next. She is also challenged that right side, so we'll see who it is. Oh. Nope, it's Sarah. She's going to do one of those step out forehands. She got caught up left early, and let's see if she can progress it down the fairway. Do you think she's attacking from here, or is she just trying to position herself for the par?
I think she's attacking. It's tough to see what she's looking at here, but I think with the trees being so spread out, she'll give herself a good opportunity to get close up by the basket.
And it looks like she stayed on that left side, and may have a long look. But this hole is absolutely gorgeous. As we mentioned, Ryan Draper and his tournament staff have done a great job preparing the course. And yeah, Paige did get a kick out after her early hit right in it. At 491, she can throw the disc a long way as well. She may be able to hit that 450 mark too, but she's lining it up. Looks like she's going to throw it on a little bit of an angle and try to get up there close for her birdie.
Taking the nice Anheuser line there.
She's come up a little short right, but she still may have a long look at it. So we'll have to get up there and see exactly where she finished.
It is interesting looking at these trees. I mean, look at how they're sloped. So not only do you still have trees in the fairway, I mean, they're leaning. So they're taking up even more room than a regular tree. So that's making it a little more tricky on this upshot to the basket, even though we're saying this is more of a wide open wooded hole.
Yeah, I mean, for this middle part of the course, it certainly is. And, I think the players are able to air it out a little bit more. Of course, once we get out of this wooded section, we're going to see the course open up into more of the park-like setting, even with the final hole being a big bomber where you have to cross a lot of water. And we know that there are huge swings. So no matter what happens, on this front nine and throughout even the start of the back nine, it may come down to the last few holes to determine who's going to be heading into day two with the lead. Obviously right now we've got Paige Bierkes hanging up 3 down as we see Vanessa Van Dyken kind of get on a par streak while Paige Pierce needs to punch out of that shul on the left side here. But boom, she threw it about 450. So this should just be a chip up. She should be able to position herself for birdie. Let's see how she does. Just right at the hole.
Yeah, and we see, yep. She'll have a putt there. It was a putter, I believe she was throwing from that sidearm shot. So
yeah, forehand Annie putter, and it didn't work its way left as much as she wanted it to, but she's gonna have a putt for sure, and so that's gonna be, big for her to maybe get back on track after that tough bogey on hole 9, which I think at first we believe was a par, but checking UDisc Live, where you can follow along with the scores. Paige did have a 6 on the last hole, as we see Brianna. Good looking up shots, fading a little left, leaking away. On these greens, you really want to be intentional with your upshot and place it, because with some of the slopes, you can have a longer than desired putt very quickly. Holcomb from circle 2.
ooh, testing those trees on the right hand there, but easy little upshot for her.
Yeah, it looked like a half-hearted go. Looked like she wanted to maybe give it a chance, but it's one of those ones just ended up lining up right under the basket. As we look at Paige Bierkes looking at a step through. Do you think she's going to be aggressive here?
Yeah, I think so. She's putting for birdie. Wait a second. Never mind. That is an upshot for par on this one. Again, par 4. So that's Paige's third shot to drop in for her par. You see the players getting set up here. Looks like Brianna's taking the lead here. Still a little bit of a tester putt for her. And this is for par.
got it. So after a little bit of scrambling, we got 3 pars, and it looks like Paige Pierce is going to be trying to convert her birdie. As we said, she hung it out a little bit to the right on her short putter approach, but let's see if she can convert here. A rebound from that long 9-hole bogey.
There's a couple little twizzly twiggles right in front of her face.
Gotta love the disc golf terms, you know, sometimes making them up on the fly, but twizzle skizzle, we know from last event, you know, became a common term in the disc golf phraseology. And great putt by Paige. She's got to feel good about that. You know, when you throw a 450-foot drive and have a short approach, you would probably feel disappointed. So it's good that she knocked it in there for her 3, and we see Brianna, you know, cleaning up for bogey, Sarah cleaning up for a par, and we're moving on to hole 11.
Ooh, that hole seemed to play a lot quicker than the hole before. So back in the rhythm. Whew. This is a tough course, and these ladies are playing it very strongly, coming out really hot in this first round. But yeah, lots of golf left. Just on hole 11 now.
Absolutely, and you know, we see Paige Pierce trying to get back towards even par. Our leaders are still at 3 under par as we go to a very attackable and very deuceable hole 11, 279 feet. What are our competitors looking to do as we approach hole 11, Rob?
Again, it's all about picking your line, knowing your game. So we're going to see probably a handful of different shots on this one. The basket is on the edge of a side hill, and so rolls can happen. I think this was the hole that we saw last year, the final round. Paul McBeth had some rolling issues, but got some elevation. And so 279 feet, so it is reachable for these ladies. So we'll see how their shots land and see how they attack their putts and if they go for them or not.
Yeah. And there are a couple trees you can see there early on, but generally this is a little bit more open than some of the tight wooded holes that we do see. If you miss that first tree right in the middle, you're going to be up around the circle. Paige Pierce is on the tee here. I believe last year she was throwing backhand. Looked like a mid-range, probably an EMAC truth. And as a DD player, when you're at a DD event, kind of in that territory, do you feel any extra comfort, or do you feel more pressure at like a sponsored event by your lead manufacturer, like Paige is playing at now?
Well, I know she wants to make them proud, and they have a great support system. So I know a bunch of the DD guys that are there, probably in that crowd right there, following her all weekend long. So I know she just wants to make them proud, as any sponsor player would want their sponsors to be proud of them.
Absolutely, and she threw a great shot there. It looks like she came up just short of those final guardian trees. She probably will have a step around putt for birdie, as we see Sarah taking the forehand approach, which probably is less likely to roll. It's coming in left to right into that bank, maybe spiking in. Let's see how she does.
And it is tough. I mean, the basket is slightly uphill, so you want to get some air underneath your disc. But now you're risking hitting those trees that are still guarding the basket a little higher, and so you can get those huge kicks into the woods, which you don't want on this one. So yeah, going for the slower disc might be beneficial, and that will look like a really nice shot from Paige.
And Brianna rounding out the card. She's going back in. So 3 of 4 going back in here. Just shows you that the whole, you know, you can just kind of pick and play to your strengths. Brianna didn't like that one. She's going to have a little bit of work to do in order to save her par. And we saw Sarah hit a little early. She's going to have to scramble as well. So, you know, our 2 Pages with the stronger shots off the tee. Paige Bierkus getting a little lucky with her kick back into the fairway. But really, Paige Pierce, you know, seems like back 9, reset, got her momentum, got her birdie on 10, and is in the best position here on the green at 11. So the storylines keep changing, moving, shifting, and that's the story of this event. That's what makes this event so great. You really don't know how things are going to play out. And we've kind of seen that in the disc golf world the last few years. There's so much talent coming into the game and so many players that can get hot that it's not the same old at the top anymore. You know, there's players breaking in, and by the end of tournaments, you know, the storylines are changing, and no lead seems to be safe.
Exactly. And we just saw Brianna throwing from the rough there, just giving herself a little pitch out to give her a better look at the basket. And again, got to surrender when there's no other shot. I think it's really important not to be greedy on this course. So she didn't feel like she had a good opportunity to get to the basket, but setting herself up here and unfortunately hangs it off. Releases early actually, and so she is going to be lower than the basket there for her putt to save bogey.
Yeah, and she might need to actually scramble again just to get in position for a double. This is a tough hole for Brianna, but she's been playing really well. She's been up and down like most of our competitors. She's got 3 birdies on the day, 3 bogeys, and 1 double. Let's see if she can limit the damage here to a double as well. I'm not sure if she's going to be in position to get a clean look at the basket from that stance. It looks like she's well back. She's just wanting to get up through the trees into circle 1 and keep the damage as limited as possible. But a great showing so far, hanging in there. And it's times like these where you don't want to let everything slip away.
Man, and yeah, it's the whole distance is not very far, but so much trouble you can get into, and we see she's struggling with a lot of that trouble back and forth on either side of the fairway.
Yeah, this is a course where there are challenges in the fairway, you know, certainly the trees that are kind of interspersed throughout the holes, but if you get off the fairway, it's scramble time because it's thick rough. Not all courses are this thick. Kind of reminds me on the east coast of Nantucket, who runs an annual B tier there out there on the island. The shul is so thick, so if you get off the rough, you're just scrambling. As we see Sarah pitch up,
All right.
looks like she's just playing for her par, and she should have no trouble converting that. But when the rough is so thick, as a player, do you find yourself dialing it back? Does it get in your head at all?
Oh, absolutely. It's tough to feel comfortable on courses that are so tightly wooded like these ones. So you don't ever feel like you're throwing your regular throw. I feel like you're real tight. You know, you're not comfortable. You're not maybe doing your full follow through, or maybe holding back on the drives just so you don't get in trouble. But we see Paige was able to get it down the fairway pretty good here, giving herself a good look at a big putt here.
Yeah, she kicked off those trees a little left, and she's the only one with a chance for 2 outside the circle.
Glad you're here.
Oh, just low. Great line. Great aggressive putt.
Of what?
No harm taking a 3 here, especially with Card struggling on this hole. So she's going to tap in for her par. I think the big question here is, can Brianna kind of limit the damage? She had a good upshot, and this is for her double. Let's see if she can just tap it.
Because that
in
goes,
and
cuts
move
through
on.
and goes back?
Isn't that hole 11?
All right, no problem
Oh,
there.
11, right.
So we
12 is
see
back.
her
Right,
with
over here.
double bogey
You're going 10.
5 as we look for the rest of the competitors to just tap in their par 3s and move on to 12.
But we need to get
A little leaderboard update as we watch them tap in. We've got Paige Bierkes still at 3 down with Vanessa Van Dyken. Again, you can check the live scoring on UDisc as we see Paige Bierkes tap in as well. And Paige Pierce looks to clean up her par. But Kat Allen, one of the preeminent FPO players in the sport of disc golf, she's putting together a good round. She's kept it pretty clean. Only 1 bogey and 1 double, but she's now got 5 birdies after birdieing the par 5 12th, which we're going to right now. Val, on the 12th hole, it is one of the longer holes on the course, if not the longest, at 609 feet.
Yeah. I reminded Joey.
Multiple
stuff
Mandos.
to do
What
it
do you
online,
think?
so
We're going from a short, gettable hole to to a
No, he just
long
needs a
par
shot to cover.
Yep, we're back to it. Par 5. This is the second one on the course. You mentioned 2 Mandos. They don't necessarily come into play, but it forces the players to play down the fairway. You have to stay left of the trees, but the hole does go off to the right, 609 feet. So it's a long one. It forces players to play in the fairway, and again, keeping it in the middle is going to be the most important thing. It's a long hole, so off the tee, it's really important to get enough distance to make it a little bit easier for every shot down the way. Par 5. We'll see if Sarah Hokum can take advantage of this one again, play it as cleanly as she did that very first par 5, and we'll be looking good. Her scorecard is looking pretty clean, though.
It's not
She's
my
got
mic.
2 birdies, 1 bogey, the rest pars.
Yeah, and as a veteran of this event and somebody who's battled for the title, I think maybe she's got her game plan not to take risks. She put herself in position. We know now that if her putter can turn on, she's going to be right up there at the top. As we just see the 15th hole score coming in for Vanessa Van Dyken with a double bogey 6. So she's fallen from a tie for first. This leaves Paige Bierkes all alone in first, with Kat Allen 1 behind her as we watch our players come up to the hole 12 at 609 feet. It is the longest hole in the course, as Val mentioned. And even though it's about 100 feet longer than hole 9, a lot of folks would say that this is an easier par 5 than hole 9. Hole 9 is that long, winding beast that we saw players challenged with earlier. But here we are, and the players are again looking like they've got a little bit of time.
Yeah, they do. You can hear some conversations going on. But what a swing, though, comparing this course from the last course we played at the Memorial. I mean, you can't get much more wide open than you do playing the courses out at Fountain Hills and Vista del Camino. Wide open. It's just about managing your distance, getting as many birdies as you can. And now we're to this one where, the things tighten up. And so it's great to see these players just be so well-rounded in their games to be able to execute all the wide open distance shots, but then narrow it down to accuracy and pinpointing specific landing zones and playing a different strategy on these wooded courses. So as we see the Disc Golf Pro Tour chug along, the second event of the season, these players are up for so many challenges, and it's fun to see them execute a course like this where it's all about accuracy and not letting maybe your mental game play too much into it. But
Yeah, absolutely. And we just are coming off the first 2 events of the year. The PDGA National Tour event at Las Vegas, which we saw Paige Bierkes win. And last week, Paige Pierce was, last event, Paige Pierce was very close to getting it done at the Memorial Championship with Evelina Salonen taking the championship. Now, Evelina's not here, but in terms of the narrative and the story of the season, do you expect Evelina to tour more this year? Are you aware of her tour schedule at all, or are we going to wait and see what she shows up to?
yeah, I'm not sure. I know you can check it out on UDisc Live and see upcoming events, but she is from Finland, so it's a long way to travel, and she's 19 years old, so maybe doesn't have as much money in her bank account to travel just yet, or have that support system here in the States yet. But it would be really great to see her coming out to bigger events. I'm sure she's got the Pro Worlds on her schedule. So I know she's going to be playing all the huge events in Europe, and that keeps her competitive fire ablazing. So when she comes back to the U.S., whenever that may be, she'll be ready to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And she is not actually registered for Jonesboro or the GBO, which are the next 2 Pro Tour National Tour events coming up. But we do see Paige, Sarah, both registered, and Paige Bierkes as well. So we can expect, this card to bring some of the leaders to the next few events as we see the season start to take shape. In terms of the season narrative, it goes up and down all year. But Paige Pierce has kind of been the number one in the game for a while. Do you see her being challenged this year by any of the FPO players that are on the come up, like Paige Bierkes? We know that she wasn't touring full time last year. This is her first full-time tour year. Do you have any predictions you want to throw out there about is she going to be able to maybe take that number one mantle? Sarah is always there in the top 2 or 3 players with Kat. As we watch them tee off on this par 5, Paige Pierce on the tee, and work down this hole. Let me know some of your thoughts, Val. I mean, these players and what you think is going to unfold during the season.
Well, we know Paige is such a strong player. And unfortunately on that, she held it a little bit to the left, wasn't able to turn it over enough. But she's such a strong player. She'll get back on the bandwagon. But last year, she was off to such a great start. I mean, she won all the Disc Golf Pro Tour events. She was basically unstoppable. And it was hard for other players to catch up. But as the season continues, more players get into the routine. And we saw Paige Bierkes take the best title in the sport, the World Championships. So it's a long season, and we're already off to 3 events almost under our belt, and it's just March.
Absolutely, yeah. And Sarah Hogan with a great drive. Looks like Paige Pierce, like you mentioned, is in the rough on the left, and here's Paige Bierkes, hair back up. And that's a beautiful shot, left to right. The crowd loves it. She's put herself in a good position on this long par 5. As we can see, this is a little bit more open, as we mentioned, than that long par 5 9. So it does have more distance, but at 600 feet, not something that is too challenging in terms of distance for these players. They can all get there in 3 and have a birdie. But as we see, Brianna hit the rough on the left and kick back over to the right side.
Little Plinko here,
Yeah.
hitting the trees in the fairway, kicking her off to the right. So she'll be scrambling from there. Not a great start off the tee, but hopefully she'll have a window and be able to lay up into the fairway and keep chugging along on this par 5.
And as we wrap up this discussion
I need to move down a
of
little bit.
the season and the narrative and where our FPO female best players in the world are standing, I'm going to go on the record saying I do think that Paige Bierkes has a chance to come away as Player of the Year this year. It's her first year touring. She's young. We've seen a lot of young players break through in disc golf. She is poised to build on that confidence that she had at the World Championship, where she won by, I think 6 strokes. And she's already got the first national tour event underway with a win. And she's got a whole season in front of her, a dedicated touring van. I'm going to go ahead and predict that she's going to end the season as Player of the Year for FPO. I know it's early, but we can see the season storyline already starting to take shape. Of course, Paige Pierce is going to be there. Kat seems to be renewed this year. Sarah's right in the mix, but it's going to be fun to see if Paige Bierkes can kind of cement herself as that upper echelon player as we get into the year.
That was a good breakdown, and I would agree. I think Paige
I'll be here for a little bit.
Bierkes made a commitment at the end of last year to go on tour. She was going to school, so she decided not to go back to school and stick on the disc golf tour, and it paid off for her when she won the World Championship. So now this year, committing to a full season, she's going to get into that routine, and it's important to build on the momentum and lead you up into those big tournaments at the end of the year. And I think it's great that Paige was able to commit this full season, and so it's going to be really awesome to see how she grows as a player now that she has a World Championship under her belt. That's huge.
Something Paige Pierce knows a lot about. How many titles does Paige have now?
Paige has 4.
Something you know well about.
We're tied.
Tied at 4. So maybe you're rooting for Paige Bierkes to keep her off the 5th until maybe you get back. We don't know what your tour plans are for the future, but do you anticipate getting back into the sport anytime, Val?
Well, Nate and I have been pretty busy. Bevel Craft Brewing is about to open on April 6th. So
Yeah.
we're going to be serving beer behind the bar for a little while. Hopefully, we'll get back out there. Maybe next year when we get a little more help. But I'd love to get back out here. It's fun to watch the golf, and it does give me that little bit of itch to get it back out here and redeem myself, maybe compete for another world championship to battle with Paige Pierce again. But we'll see. We'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we talk about Paige, we see her struggling on this hole, kind of continuing the up and down round that she's been having. She hit early, was in a tough spot, pitched out, and then we just saw her last shot, a forehand trying to advance up the fairway, and she caught right early. So her struggles continue, and she's going to be throwing her fourth shot from way back. And here's Brianna's second. A little better position than Paige, but still not great. She hits early and does not get the distance that she was hoping for. Maybe biting off a little bit too much there, being a little more aggressive. I think it's more important to be out in the middle of the fairway there, right, than trying to advance too far. And now she's kind of pinched on this left side. Looks like she has a full swing though.
Yeah, exactly. She went for it, but yeah, it's nice to have a little relief from the trees and the bushes that she was just previously in. But yeah, how greedy are you going to get on each shot is the test on this course. The Beast. They call it that for a reason.
And she does have a full run up and swing, and she lets one rip. It does narrow as we approach the green here. You can see those two trees in the middle of the fairway. You got a split.
Oh, thanks. I didn't leave
And I just want to talk about her form for a second. She really does have a large reach back. So she is looking away from the fairway for maybe a full second. So she really has to know her timing and get it on point to make sure she's hitting the line that she wants to, because she's not looking at the fairway the whole time. So that makes it tough, especially on these wooded courses when you need to hit between the trees and stay in the fairway. So I think she's managing it really well, but that's her game. That's how she's been practicing all these years. So she's all about getting that timing down, and she's doing a good job so far.
Yeah, and we saw Paige Pierce looking to get a little bit back on track on this hole, and now here's Paige Bierkes with another forehand. She's stuck right behind this bush. Really no swing with a backhand, which you would prefer. Focusing in and letting it rip. Leaking left, challenging the left side. It looked good. If it didn't have that turn, we do want to see the discs finishing up to the right. It is a raised green up to the right, so she wanted to cut up to the right, but unable to get the disc to fade back. Maybe needed something a little more stable.
Yeah, I would think so. What great power on that. I just mentioned earlier that I hadn't seen her throw a lot of forehands, and there was a great pop on that. Just the way she followed through, and yeah, that was great, but maybe not throwing as many forehands. She doesn't have the disc choice just yet, but I was impressed by that.
Yeah. If she can develop that and add that tool to her game, she's going to be that much more dangerous. As we see the results Sarah's gotten with her forehand over the years. Probably a long cry from developing it to that extent, but this shot right here at Sarah, right in the middle, she's sitting pretty. She's kind of stabled out her game, and this is a big shot for her, I think, to execute well and see a good result on. Here we go. Looks like she likes it. Oh yeah, and it's skipping up there. Crowd's very appreciative of her efforts as she gets it all the way up past the guardian trees there in the middle of the fairway, and she's got to be feeling good about her position right now. All of a sudden, she's tied for third. Paige Bierkes ahead 2 strokes, but in a little bit more trouble than Sarah on this particular par 5.
Yeah, she's playing it great. And talking about somebody manipulating shots, it's so fun to watch a player like Sarah Hokum, who has that forehand, and she throws understable discs and makes them work. She'll throw stable discs, but weaving in and out and around trees is what Sarah Hokum's specialty is, and it's impressive to watch her forehand. And I bet I've taken a bunch of notes from her, and I know Paige has too. So another forehand from Paige here.
Yeah, and you can see the hill that Paige is trying to throw to the top of here pretty clearly. Sarah got to the top of that with her last shot, and Paige isn't able to get all the way to the top. Her struggles on this hole continue. There's the basket. There's the green that they're searching for, and it is this side hill, uphill slope. If you hit on it, you could get stopped or roll away. As we saw Paige, her disc just kind of came to a stop. She wasn't able to get enough height. I don't think Sarah's going to have a great putt at eagle, but she is up there, you know, and she may have a long look at her three. As we look at Robert McCall, DD team manager, trying to give a little bit of assistance to Paige Bierkes, maybe give her a little bit of advice on how to get out of here, or what he sees too. How much advice did you take when you were playing? Were you locked in and zoned in, have your game plan, or were there times that you took advice from, you know, the people supporting you, caddies, other people around?
I would just smile and nod. Usually, these players know what they're doing. I think a lot of players that do ask for advice, it's just kind of backing up what they're already planning to do. So, you know, you might think they're taking complete advice and knowing what the caddies knowing what throws they're going to throw, but it's all up to the player. They know what they're doing, and it's just about, you know, confiding in somebody and talking it out so you can really execute that shot.
Yeah, and that was a good upshot from Paige out of the woods, as we see Rihanna dealing with the same type of thing. And theme of the day here, you know, I wonder how often, you know, these players in practice rounds are practicing these shots out of the woods, these step outs, the shots that you take from a knee, you know, the reach around forehands. You know, there's so many, the patent pending shot where, you know, back to the basket. There's so many positions that these players are being put in with a challenging lie, challenging lines. When you're going out to practice, how often are you actually throwing these shots when you get in trouble?
Well, I guess it's how often you're landing in the fairway as opposed to landing in the rough. So, you know, on a course like this, you see these players, they're getting tricky. They're throwing all sorts of shots.
Yeah, but are they practicing these? Like, if they, in a practice round, would they just pick the one up in the woods? Or would you, you know, would you like say, okay, I'm going to get in there, get in the depths, and like practice this, because this is what it's going to be in the round?
Oh yeah, you got to practice these shots. Yeah, you can't expect to land in the fairway on every single shot. And yeah, as we see these players, they're making it work from either side of the fairway. You have to practice these shots. Otherwise, you'll never know what to do.
Yeah, I'll just hustle.
It's interesting.
And give you checkpoints and stuff.
I know in my practice rounds for events, you know, and this may be, I'm an AM player, so sometimes I don't go and play every disc that I'm throwing in a practice round, but maybe it's a good tip for the disc golfers watching. Play those shots out of the shul, practice the out shots, the chips, the rollers, the challenges.
Yeah. I was just thinking we haven't seen it yet, but I know, you know, when you get in those trouble spots, busting out a forehand roller. I mean, how often are you going to practice that unless you get in the woods and try it? And so sometimes that forehand roller shot out of the woods to save it might give you a birdie, a par, save you from bogeys at least.
Absolutely. And here's Sarah after two. Pretty incredible two shots. As we mentioned, it was a big shot, having a great drive, looking up the fairway, and she's looking at a long putt. I don't know if how she's going to approach this. If she's just going to nestle it under and take her birdie, or is she going to get aggressive here?
And yeah, I think she's got to nestle it up there. See a little advice happening right here. Trying to pick that line.
An eagle throw-in would be exciting, but I agree. I think her game plan has been more conservative. We're going to see her throw this up and try to get it within tap-in range.
I was right. You're right.
The fact that she can see the basket is pretty cool on this par 5. And again, this hole is kind of feeling like a marathon, just like hole 9, with that tight rough on the sides and people going back and forth playing plinko, as you said. up the fairway, and we see Sarah's approach, and it looks good.
Nice. Yeah. Again, another near perfect executed hole. Another par 5. And she's playing these holes so great. And that's awesome to see. I'm sure an eagle would have been super exciting, but who doesn't love a drop-in birdie?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see Paige come on up for her birdie putt from circle 2. And, you know, as the leader, this is important. I think, you know, we can see Sarah either inch closer or Paige, you know, make a big putt here to try to keep her lead on this card at 2. It looks like she's warming up for her step through. And this is going to be, I think this is a big putt. You know, these par 5s are momentum shifters. We've seen that. So let's see how she can do if she's on target here and how her putter's feeling with the clean look at the basket. Oh, and she ricochets right off the basket. It was a good bed. She's feeling good about it. As you see Paige Pierce a little closer, stepping up. She's got an obstructed putt, and she's really just showing her flexibility here. It's a challenge when you have to step out, but you got to make sure you look at all the options on all the lines.
Yeah, look at that squirrely, windy tree right in front of her. So she's choosing to straddle out to the right and have more of a hyzer putt. You see that tree, it's leaning to the right. So she's got to put it a little lower. Being on her knee and straddling, you got to have a lot of legs behind this.
Oh, and the struggle continues. It looks like she's going to card a triple bogey 8 after missing that double bogey putt. And that's a tough hole for Paige. As we said, she's been up and down, but that's definitely the low point of her round so far. We also saw Vanessa Van Dyken take a big number recently, so you know it's going up and down. We see Sarah tap in for birdie, and the tides keep shifting, and that brings Paige Pierce to 4 over. Brianna with her bogey, 5 over. And then we've got Paige and Sarah who have really separated themselves on this card. Paige 3 down, Sarah in a tie for second now with Kat at 2 down. And you know the story of this round has really started to become established with separation from our top 2 and our bottom 2 pretty clearly taking place now.
That is crazy stroke swings there. I mean, 4 stroke swing between Paige Pierce and Sarah Hopung. Wow. And that's just what you get on such a tightly wooded course. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And we saw this last year, just strokes being handed back and forth, and you really just can't take anything for granted. And I think now we're walking out to maybe more of the open holes to wrap up this round. We still have 6 holes left.
Absolutely. So let's do a little quick 2/3 of the round check-in here. We have our leader on our feature card, Paige Birkus, at 3 down. She's only had 2 bogeys on the day. Sarah is 1 behind her with only 1 bogey. So they're keeping it pretty clean for a course that has so much thick rough, so many tight lanes. We've seen Katrina hang in there steady. She's been up and down, but a lot of birdies. She's at 2 under, tie for second. Vanessa with that double bogey on the 15th, still hanging in at 1 under, and there's only those 4 ladies under par. And they do have a significant gap to the 5th place Ellen Widboom, who is 3 over par. Paige taking that triple bogey 8, fallen to tie for 6 with Lisa Fakis. We haven't talked about Lisa, but she's just birdied the 16th hole to get in.
Okay, 2 here. commentators aren't. Just assume you're live right now.
And I'm not sure if we're back. Sorry if we are. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. And we are happy to be back on live coverage as we are on hole 13. And it's a par 4. It's 555 feet. And there is one Mando. But this is a huge birdie opportunity for these ladies, especially coming out of the tight wooded fairways of the 4th through the 12 holes, you know, where they're, you know, it feels like a marathon in there. It feels like an entire round on that stretch. And Paige Pierce taking option 1, which is a blast straight ahead, hyzering left, and it looks like she got out clean. Great shot, full distance on that one. But as we saw earlier, Sarah Hokum took the left route. As our players are off the tee, we're going to catch back up, and quick apology for the audio difficulty there. Now that we're back on track. Val, does it feel good to come out of these, you know, more challenging, tighter holes into a hole like this and hit these last 6 holes running? What are the mindsets of the players as kind of the course shifts?
Yeah, we got a little more space here. We're gonna have a little less trees, but definitely still obstacles out there. We're gonna see more OB come into play, but this hole is about getting as much distance off the tee. And I think this is the best opportunity that these ladies will have at a birdie. It's a par 4, but a lot less trees. As long as you make the Mando and put yourself in a good position to throw a nice, easy upshot, you can have a drop-in 3. So I like this hole. I think it gives these players a little bit of relief. But it is the distance on it that makes it a par 4.
Yeah. Coming into the home stretch of this course, we'll see more of these holes in this park setting. Brianna had, you know, her second shot, a little bit more distance than off the tee, did get knocked down, and she's going to be challenged to get up and in for her par because she does have a little bit of work left to do. So a little unfortunate for her. She's trying to get off a bogey, double bogey, 3-hole run as we watch Sarah trying to keep the momentum going. She's in a pretty good position here, and she's going to be attacking the basket on this approach shot.
You can see the wind picking up a little bit here, but she had a nice route there. She'll be looking good.
Looks like she came up a little short, so maybe not the birdie opportunity that she was hoping for, but shouldn't be in any position to lose her opportunity at par. And it seems like that's the name of the game for Sarah today, is play it safe, give yourself some looks and see what happens. But she's been playing really safe as we've watched you know, Paige Pierce here lining up her shot. She had a good drive, and I think that she 100% needs the birdie right here to turn the tide after that triple.
Yeah, she might even give it a little run. There's no trouble near and around the basket, so she might be giving this a little run. I'd love to see an eagle on the scorecard. little more distance behind that throw. Not an eagle
Yeah.
this time.
But it looks like she's in circle one, and it was a good upshot, and she'll have at least a putt for her birdie, which going to be a big one for her to get back on track after a long hole like we just saw her struggle through. So
I love these kind of holes. You can see, nice green grassy fairway, big trees. These are the kind of course holes that I like.
Paige with the best drive of the bunch with her approach. Hyzering back into the basket, and it looks like she's got a great look at birdie as well.
And it seems these players are going to be playing into a headwind on a few of these last holes. And we can see the flag blowing there a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see if we see the wind pick up for the men's afternoon round. That's typically what we see, calmer rounds in the morning, but you can get the wind picking up later in the afternoon.
And Brianna with her approach, she's hoping to not leave herself much for her par putt, but it looks like she's gonna have a long par putt, not drop in under the basket like you would hope. And now we're up with everybody around the green, getting a little closer here. Let's see what Sarah will choose to do on her putt. We know it's a little longer as we approach, but on these situations, she's really looked like she's played it safe. So not a lot of danger immediately around the basket here. She may choose to give it a longer run, but kind of being out of position, we would expect Sarah to kind of keep the steady play going and take her par. But let's see what she chooses to do. Again, we're on hole 13. It's 555 feet. It is a par 4. And we can see Sarah lining up. I'll look now. It's out of her hand. And yep, just under the basket. Did look like she was taking her time and maybe wanting to give it a run. She doesn't look too pleased, but kind of with the theme of the day for her, play it safe, get it under the basket, and she's going to be moving on with a par.
Par is not bad, but yeah, she definitely looked like she wanted that birdie, trying to recover from a couple of the missed putts earlier in the round. And as we can see on her back, she is sponsored by Team MVP, so she's throwing all new discs for this season. So learning new putters. I know she was throwing the Rattler back in the day. I know she had a couple of funky putters. So yeah, I gotta find out what she's putting with and what she's throwing out there with all new plastic in her bag. It's a fun journey trying to learn new discs, trying to be confident in their flights after not knowing them for too long. But I'm sure she'll get back into the swing of it.
As we watch Brianna line up her par-saving putt, we have seen a lot of player movement over the course of the last offseason, the last couple of years. It seems like there's more player mobility, more lucrative deals out there, and that is a challenge. And you've gone through that yourself. How long do you think, on average, if there is an average, that it takes to get accustomed to switching discs after years and years of throwing the same type of manufacturer's plastic?
It takes a couple tournaments. Playing courses that are so distinctly different, like the Memorial, then coming to a wooded course, they offer different challenges. And so it's just tough. You just have to stick to your game plan, put as much practice in as you can. And it's tough, but players can manage through it. We see Brianna. Nice little close-up shot there.
Yeah, she gets her bogey.
And that's 4 in a row for Brianna. So she is on the bogey train, but Paige Bjerk is right there with a birdie. Let's put a blue color on that card again after a bunch of pars she had. And a par for Sarah Hokum there. And yeah.
Yeah. And as we go on to the next hole, tell us a little bit about the 14th. We got our triple Mando.
Triple Mando. You can see it in the background here, and as these players walk up to the next tee pad, just in the distance there, is Triple Mando, sponsored by Zuka Kart. We see a couple of players on this cart actually rolling carts behind them. I don't feel like the Triple Mando comes into play. It's really close off the tee pad, as we see the placement of that Triple Mando throughout the season, throughout the disc golf tour. It's a turnover shot. Once we get to the tee pad, we'll be able to see the fairway and the flight that these players are going to be throwing, but I would expect them to be throwing a turnover shot, nice and easy, especially for the backhanded players. We're going to see Sarah Hokum for sure throwing a sidearm shot. Few trees in the fairway, not a lot of trouble. So this is another great birdie opportunity. The distance is 303 feet. Paige Bjerkes first on the tee pad here.
And this Mando is not something that anyone's afraid of missing, obviously. Looks like she likes it. She's tracking it down, and she's feeling good, opening up a 2-stroke lead after that birdie on hole 13. Here's Sarah after the par. You could play this backhand or forehand.
Yeah, it seems that the left-hand side of the fairway is a little more open, and as long as you can let the disc do the work on a forehand, you'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, great shot there by Sarah. The wind is ripping.
Good skirt Brianna's wearing as the judge.
Yeah, and especially what we just saw with Paige Bjerkes' drive being turned over by the wind.
Yeah, the wind is definitely blowing in their face, so they're having to deal with the headwind. And this is an interesting play. We see Paige lining up a forehand.
Off the tee, normally a backhand thrower, but it does suit a forehand a little better on this tee, and she lets it rip.
Yeah, and that's a good play. I mean, with the wind coming at your face here, throwing a more stable disc with a forehand, she's trusting it. It's 300 feet, so it's a good rip for her sidearm, especially. But it's tricky to throw maybe a mid-range or a fairway driver at an anhyzer angle. You have to be so precise on the angle you release it at, because you know the wind is gonna flip it. So good play by Paige, sticking to a game plan. I'm sure she's practiced in her practice round, so it was a really good play, especially with the wind picking up as we see it. But she gets hung up on some trees, so it's going to be an upshot for her for par, hopefully.
Hopefully she can get up and in without any issue.
Good upshot there. See the wind really coming into play.
Yeah, and we're getting to the home stretch. After hole 14, we go to 4 consecutive par 4s to finish this beast course here at Brazos Park East at the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. Big shout out to Dynamic. The DD team supports Ryan Draper and his crew at this event. They've been doing it for years and always put on a great show here at Waco. We really appreciate them supporting this team of the Waco crew that's been on the Pro Tour here for a number of years, and we've seen some great finishes. Always a fun event on tour, and really enjoying this feature card with both the Pages, both sponsored DD players, Paige Pierce and Paige Bjerkes. Very similar in stature and throwing style. I think we've heard Paige Bjerkes mention in the past how much she's modeled her game after watching Paige Pierce's successes through the years. So it's great to see them playing together on a feature card like this. And of course, we've got Sarah Hokum, who's playing very solid. She's in 3rd place alone, now 1 back from Katrina Allen, who is through 15 holes and has birdied 2 in a row. And Paige Bjerkes is now
1 stroke in the lead, having her lead cut in half by Kat's recent birdie. Yeah, the wind is going to be a big factor here as we go into these final holes. And we watch Paige Bierkes dealing with some obstacles as her drive got really turned over in the wind out of her hand. It really blew the disc over to the right. It looks like she's marking her disc from an OB position and going to be throwing her 3rd throw. So hopefully she's going to get up and in, but it's not easy, even on these upshots, Val, in the wind.
And she seems to nestle it right up there. But yeah, it's the wind. It's tough to judge. It's tough to if you want to throw a more lofty shot. It's tough to not expect the wind to just carry it over the basket. But then other times the wind will let you down and smack it down and be unexpected. So playing in the wind it's a struggle sometimes.
And these upshots become all the more important because the putts are harder and you want to be right next to it, so you're dropping it in. We see this at the GBO, another DD sponsored event every year. They actually produce, but early in the year like this, on the open courses, before we get into the wooded courses on the East Coast later, the wind does come into play quite a bit. And we're seeing that here, and it's a good test to see it at Waco before Jonesboro, GBO, coming up. So this looks like a routine putt for Paige Bierkes, but not quite. It's blowing. Let's see if she can convert. So she misses her bogey, and what a swing! This whole simple, upon first glance, has become kind of a very interesting hole on the back 9 for us, as you see Paige Pierce take care of her putt. But now with a double bogey, the lead is going to be shifting here.
So unexpected, especially on a hole that's just over 300 feet. You don't expect to see such huge score swings. Wow. But OB does come into play. A little wind in your face. Yeah, unfortunate for Paige to get that double bogey. But she's still in there.
Yeah, Sarah cashing in her par, sticking with her par theme for the day. She's gotten all pars, 3 birdies, and a bogey. So she's staying very consistent. And Paige a little bit more up and down with that double there. Rihanna with a bogey on that hole. Paige starting for par. So, man, we have a new leader. And for the first time all day, after 16 holes, we see Katrina Allen move into the lead. She's now at 3 under. And we've been saying it throughout the broadcast here. Anything around even par will keep you in the mix, even if you're a couple over. There are a lot of swings that are going to be happening in the second round, in the third round. So, even though we see our leader who's been, up top for a while, Paige Bierkes, fall back, she's still right there. It's plenty of disc golf to be played, but it's interesting to watch the ups and downs. Kat probably doesn't even know she's in the lead right now. A lot of players, keep track. They can on UDisc Live, but a lot of people just tune it out. Were you a player that tuned it out, or would you keep tabs on the scores during?
Oh no, I definitely would tune it out. I know some players pull out their phone. They do want to check scores, but way too early in the tournament to be doing anything like that. But maybe down the stretch, with big score swings, it's going to be tough for these players to keep track of what their opponents are doing. But in the end, you don't need to put that added pressure on yourself, especially on such tricky holes like this where it's already mentally draining just to try and get it in the fairway. So I think it's really important for players just to put that out of their mind, stick to your game plan, and focus on playing the best you can, because that's the only thing you have control of.
Exactly. You see Paige here taking a minute, Robert McCall talking to her, and just kind of regrouping. You can see the wind whipping in their face. Looks like coming onto this next hole. And the next hole is a par 4 as we go into the final stretch. There's 4 par 4s in a row. Really going to define this round. In this feature card, Paige and Sarah are now tied for the lead at 2 under. What are we going to see in these last 4 holes, and specifically the 15th at 558?
558, you said it. It's a par 4. There's OB on the left of a sidewalk. There's a fence on the right-hand side. With this wind ripping, I would hate this moment right now to, you see the wind ripping and trying to figure out your strategy. You need to throw a stable disc, but hope it doesn't fly out of bounds. There's lots of man-made obstacles. I know there's a fence farther down the fairway. There might be a few manholes. There's a lot of stuff. And so if you end up kicking one of those, it could send you OB. But again, the name of the game is playing down the middle of the fairway, keeping yourself right in the middle. Might see players like Sarah, I imagine, again throwing a sidearm. So she's going to play it out over the sidewalk the whole time to bring it back into the fairway. But it is almost like a landing strip where this fairway is. But they're out of the trees now.
Out of the trees, yeah.
And into the wind.
Into the pavement jungle here, as we definitely have a couple man-made obstacles, as you mentioned, on this hole. Mindsets going into the last four. We got Paige and Sarah tied, as I mentioned, 2 down. The next 3 holes are about 500 feet or more. In the wind, you're going to probably be taking out some stable plastic.
Yes, you are. But at the same time, as much as I talked about how you're in the woods and you're kind of holding back, I think out in the open, when the wind starts blowing, you're holding back again. So disc choice is really important. You're going for the more stable discs, but making sure that you're playing the shot and hitting the line you want so that the disc can work for you and you're landing in bounds. We're going to see these players, I'm sure, playing a little bit on the edge because we got the wind and lots of OB. And here we are, we're live in action, and Sarah Hokum's first on the tee.
And as you said, we expect her to take this wide left, working it back inbounds to the right. Looks like she's done just that. Not sure if she got the distance that she was hoping for on that, but it's safe, and that has been her number 1 priority today. Paige Pierce looks excited to throw, and she lets it rip. Yeah, and it's inbound, and so she's way up there. We saw this earlier on the little bit more open wooded hole. It had, bad stretch, and then just lets it rip and opens it up. It seems to be a positive for her today.
Yes, yeah, she was ready to go. Released it nice and low. Let's see if Brianna can follow that up.
Leaking, and she skips out of bounds onto the road. I've got a quick question about Paige. Do you think that she has a distinct advantage when it's more open with her distance? It seems pretty clear through the years that has been the case. Has that changed at all coming into the season?
Oh no, yeah. Having distance like Paige does, she uses that to her full advantage. So any drive that she can crush, she's gonna do it, whether it's in the woods or wide open. But if she can get it farther up the fairway, it makes those upshots so much easier. And when you got wind and lots of OB, you want easier. So Paige was able to crush it down the fairway, play that right-hand side, and land it nice in the middle. And hopefully she doesn't have too many of those man-made obstacles in her way.
Yeah, and we saw Paige Bierkes round out the tee shots on this 15th hole, and she was going right down the right-hand side. She was asking for it to stay in bounds, and it was unclear where it really finished. So we're going to have to check that out. It's right on the fence line. I think Brianna will be the first to play, but we are getting word that Paige Bierkes' throw is in bounds. So she's on the fairway there.
Is this thing will be?
On the road.
I don't know.
Looking to bring it home strong. She's had a great day.
I can just say it's here, though.
And she's tied for second now. But 2 down after 14. That's exactly where Kat was. And Katrina actually birdied this 15th hole. She took a 3. So if Sarah
It was
or
right here?
Paige can make it in
Okay,
for
I'll
a
just
birdie
take-
on
I'll
this
just take it.
this
Thank
hole,
you.
they'd both be keeping pace with Kat.
See the players setting up.
It says that everything is safe.
And Brianna's taking her meter relief from the out of bounds after going out of bounds off the tee.
Thank you very much again.
I'm hoping she's going for a backhand here to play it over the fairway. And
We want to see her take this out wide to the right and really, hopefully not challenge that OB on the left again. But as you said, it's a strip. You know, you can't go too far right or too far left. You see a lot of spike hyzers in this situation. It looks like she's going for a little bit more distance.
Slow and steady.
This time she finds the fairway. You can see those posts, the fence posts. Any other considerations, or you just play that like it's a bush or a tree? You know, when you're in that position, Val?
Yeah, maybe trying to use your imagination. Imagine it's a little more pretty than just a fence there, but yeah, you don't want to be near them. I know these players are trying to throw up and over them.
Yeah, and you know, it's even though, you know, we think about the beauty of the game being natural and, you know, wooded, you know, open parks and meadows. This is part of the beauty of the game of disc golf because you can play it anywhere. You know, you can put a basket in and play around objects. You know, a lot of college campuses have beautiful courses. Slippery Rock University was featured in the 2015 World Championship, and it's on an urban setting around, you know, some of the campus there. So,
Winthrop Gold, one of the most challenging courses in the world. Lots of man-made obstacles.
Absolutely. So, you know, I think it's certainly something players are used to. As we see a great shot by Sarah, very safe on her drive and a great aggressive upshot to put it right around the pin. This is a hole that you know, is not necessarily a distance challenge because it is so wide open. At 558, you have to be able to throw a good long ways, but on the MPO side, we see people go for twos here. You know, so there are a few eagleable holes. What do you think about those drivable par fours? Is there a great place in our game for those? You know, those eagleable holes. I mean, a lot of people think they're exciting, but I've also heard some criticism of drivable par fours. You know, it should be more traditional.
Well, this game is changing up even so much from when I started playing. So we're seeing courses get lengthened, more distance, more OB. Everything is just so challenging, and you know, we see trends catch on too. So we're seeing a lot of course designers playing into what they see on live coverage and things like this. More elevated baskets, more drivable par fours. But I think it's great to see. You know, it makes a well-rounded player and forces them to come up with all sorts of shots and be able to control their discs.
Yeah, and Paige Bierk has had a great upshot. She's inside the circle for her birdie putt, bouncing back, and here's Paige Pierce with it, just probably a putter upshot from where she was, able to control the disc, putting it right inside the circle. So we see our players having success here. 3 birdie putts coming up, and Brianna looking to try to save her par.
That was a nice play by Paige. Again, that distance is really helpful in situations like this. So it made her upshot way shorter than the rest of the girls. So that made it a little bit easier for her. And on a par 4, you want those easy birdie opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, 7 back. She's 7 back of Paige and Sarah. She's now 9 back of Katrina, who has birdied the 17th hole. When you're that far back this early, are you probably concerned? But we know that she's as a 4-time world champ, as the defending champ. She's not out of this yet, even being that far back.
No way. As we saw, there was a 4-stroke swing on just one hole. So out here, you just got to play solid golf, stay within your own mind, and stick to your game plan. And as we said, these leads can switch on and off in just a matter of 1 hole, maybe 2 holes. And as we saw last year, it came down to literally the very last hole of the tournament. So
the 3-stroke swing
She was gonna
on
take
the
off.
final hole to give Paige Pierce the victory over Sarah. It's really cool watching these women battle in the first round of the next year, as we see Sarah Hokum lining up her putt just outside the circle. This would be huge for Sarah. She has not been on with her putter today. She's taking her time, getting into her routine. Let's see if she can cash in for a big birdie at this point.
giving it all she's got, reaching, but still not getting that putting stroke dialed in yet. Paige Bierkis, excuse me, with a similar putt just outside the circle there. Definitely running on it here.
She's got that step through. Looks like she stumbled a bit, but still gets it to go. An awkward release. Didn't matter, Val.
No, that was so great. High five from Paige Pierce there. I was just having flashbacks of Vegas and the playoff with her and Kat and how she hit that huge putt. She's dialing in those jump putts. I love it.
Big one for Pierce, and she gets back on track. She was 4 over through the last 3 holes, and boom, she's got a birdie. Paige Bierkis making a bogey sandwich with 2 slices of birdie bread. She went 3-5-3, and was able to kind of just go even par over the last 3 holes. Everyone loves sandwiches, Val. That's why I used it in my analogy.
Yeah, I mean, a bogey sandwich isn't the greatest, but the birdie bread, that has the most flavor there. That's what you want.
Sarah tapping in for her par, and we talked about that battle at Vegas. Right now it's shaping up to be a round 2 battle between Paige and Kat. Right now sitting in first and second, Kat at 4 down, going on to 18, and Paige 3 down now, going on to 16. So it looks like the start and the end of the course, that's really where the scoring is, at least for Kat and Paige Bierkis, because that's where we see the most blue on UDisc Live. Big shout out to the team there for providing the best stats in the business. Head on over to udisclive.com to stay up to date with all the action.
Maybe Joey
you
can
see all the stats.
17.
A lot of scrambling going on. Any insight into Kat's round for us, Val? We haven't seen her featured here. Our feature card's been exciting to watch, but we've seen her slowly climb up
Yeah, exactly.
into first place.
So from UDisc Live, it says she's had 68% fairway hits, but it looks like what is allowing her to get to the top of this leaderboard here is her putting. She's at 75% of circle 1 putts, so she's been able to capitalize on all these shots. So she has a slight advantage over Paige Bierkis, who is only at 60% circle 1X putts. But Paige is really hitting the fairways, and so that's allowing her to maintain the great scores she's been getting. She has 71% fairway hits throughout this round, so she's feeling pretty accurate on hitting all those fairways, whether it's wide open or tightly wooded.
Yeah. And here we are. We're moving on to hole 16. This is the longest par 4 at 585 feet. We see Paige Pierce with a run up, with a little stutter step but she let it rip. Sometimes when you're trying to let it rip, maybe get out of your normal routine, and that's out there quite a ways. She's probably feeling good about that as we see our second place Paige Bierkis coming up to the tee now.
And this is just a big bomber shot, so big run up, big crush, hoping to get way down the fairway there.
And she gets a little bit of a skip. She's on the right side while Paige is probably over on the left a little bit more. Different approaches to the green. It's a wooded but open green. You have to penetrate through some guardian trees, and I think you can position it left, right, center, and still have a look, as we see Sarah ripping on a forehand. And that looked like a good move. Definitely got a nice flight, turn, and it's finishing right in the middle. So 3 different approaches here.
Shout out to Infinite Discs for being a sponsor on this hole. We can see the walls in front of the tee pad there. Brianna lining up her shot here, trying to get back on track.
Yeah.
She's on the bogey train for sure. 6 bogeys in a row.
She's in the middle of the pack, though, with a field of 24. She is tied for 13th, so even though she's had her struggle, she's hanging in. She had a great start, just being 1 over through 9, and then the back 9's just slowed down, and maybe that's part of the round, especially if you're on a feature card.
gonna move?
Maybe have a little more juice for the front nine. But you know that midsection of the beast can wear you down, and you got to come out firing, which has been a challenge for Brianna. But she's been playing well all day, and we're hoping that she can at least get off that bumper streak with this one.
And I gotta give her a shout out. So I'm looking at the UDIS stats here. She's 86% circle 1 at putting, and we saw huge putts from her at the beginning of the round. I mean, it was incredible. She hit that 70-foot putt on hole 6, and so she's had some exciting stuff, great stuff to brag about. I'm sure Canada is cheering and rooting for their homegirl, and I think she's holding up strong. So it's nice to see her play. It's fun to see her execute this course.
Yeah, and I mean, she would be right there. She's just hadn't been able to scramble. 18% scramble rate. You know, that's been the challenge for her as we see her lining up her next shot. Looks like she's first to play here, and she's got a good look at the basket. Hopefully we can get back on track. Not in a position to scramble here, so feeling good for Brianna's chances on hole 16.
An elevated basket, and so I mean, back in the wide open with a little bit of wind on this elevated basket, you want to make sure that these up shots are landing close so you don't have to worry about it too much. But it's a fairly easy hole, again par 4, so these ladies have a good opportunity to get the birdie if they can get these up shots close to the basket.
There's that OB path over on the right side people do need to worry a little bit about. And Sarah looks like she's not nestled up too close, but she'll have a look at it. We go to the Pages, who definitely have the distance advantage on this one.
It's always a nice feeling to walk up another 30 feet past your card mates, get a little closer to the basket, make it a little bit easier on this up shot. Looks like Paige Bjerkes is first here.
You know, the wind is a factor. It turned over Brianna's approach, it turned over Sarah's approach. Let's see if we can throw something a little bit more stability for Paige. It looks a little better, yeah. So looks like she's inside circle 1.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that's like a good.
Gonna be putting for birdie.
Good adjustment there for her. The Paige Pierce testing the wind, making sure she's got a good read on it for her up shot. Again, she threw a crush on this hole, using that distance to her advantage. Nice little easy up shot here. Don't take it for granted though. It's a tester. If you're not underneath the basket, I think any putt like that, it's a tester still. But hopefully she's on a good side of the basket where the wind won't come into play too much.
She is in circle 1, so she'll have a birdie putt, and she's looking to finish strong. Again, you know, she doesn't want to lose more touch than she's in right now with the leaders. Being 8 back and having Kat, you know, on the fairway on hole 18. You know, there's a lot of golf left to be played, but you don't want to be 10 behind after the first day. So this finish is important for our defending champion.
Yeah, we got to this hole seems relatively easy compared to the 2 holes that they got ahead of them, and this course is quite challenging finishing holes. And anything can happen, as we always know in the game of disc golf. It's a game of inches. And when wind picks up, it makes things a little more interesting.
Yeah. Sarah with the kind of throw approach here. Looks like she's probably not giving this run. Just wants to nestle it up and not have a putt. And she does that very nicely. She's pretty close and should have no problem with that. Tap in. So that's a par. I don't want to write it down on the scorecard quite yet, but we can pretty much assume she's going to have a par there as coming up a little bit closer. We believe Paige Bierkes is right on circle's edge. Not quite sure how far away that she will be, but we're going to go to Brianna first and see how. No, coming over to Bierkes. Here she is. She just pitches up, and that's a function of the elevated basket. Yeah, Val.
Oh yeah. I think when you're outside the circle there, like Paige was, you're risking it if you're going for a putt like that, especially with the wind picking up. So it was a good play for her to.
And boom, that's a huge birdie for Paige Pierce. That's 2 in a row. She's clawing her way back. That just shows the perseverance that she has. She's got the mindset of a champ. We know she's a four-time world champ. Unbelievable birdie right there. So 2 birdies in a row, trying to get back towards these even par. She's 3 over now as we watch Sarah Hokom. She came up a little shorter than we thought, and this is a putt, and she does need it to save her par. And she gets it. Tough putt in the wind. We know the final holes here are full of it, and what makes this this disc golf course, Brazos Park East, the beast, so exciting to watch coming down the stretch of the first round of the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. I'm Jeff Spring. I'm here with Val, and we're in the studio enjoying the coverage here as they come. Our feature card comes all the way down to the wire. 17 and 18. We've got Kat Allen on top, 4 under. Paige Bierkes 3 under. Sarah Hokom 2 under. And how you feeling about this round shaping up? A little bit surprised with Paige Pierce lagging, but any other notable thoughts as we head into our last 2 holes of our feature card?
Paige is lagging, but as we know, you can never count her out, and she is gonna fight back, and she's not that far out. As we said, the par golf is great golf, and she's only 3 off of that. I'm sure adjusting to that will happen throughout the weekend. But ladies that are shooting lights out right now, Katrina Allen's at 4 down for the round, 1 hole to play. So she's putting for par in hole 18. So she looks like she might be ending up with a nice par there, or nice 4 under. Paige Bierkes is right on her tail at 3 under for the round. Sarah Hokom 2 under. So that's nice to see these ladies shooting under par golf out here at the Beast.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Ellen Woodboom not too far out, 6th place, and really I think we're seeing the competitors shape up. We don't see a lot of names that we know further down the leaderboard. Lisa Fakis is in at 7 over. She's in a tie for 8th with Jessica Weiss. Those 2 are still in the tournament, but need really great second rounds with the play we've seen from our top competitors here, being under par and having a little bit of a gap.
And these scorecards are super colorful. Oh my gosh, birdies, bogeys, double bogeys. A few snowmen out there in Texas. It's a tough course, and we're seeing these ladies play it all different ways. From some ladies struggling right off the bat to others getting on a birdie streak. And in the end, it's all about how you finish. And with just 2 holes to play, I know they're hoping to finish strong. And these 2 holes cannot be taken for granted. Hole 17, let's talk a little bit about it. It's 530 feet. It's a par 4, and it plays as a basic 90-degree dog leg to the right. So the first shot is all about placement so that you have a nice look at the basket from where you land. We've got the river again coming into play. So if you throw it a little too long, you might run into trouble. We see Paige here with a sidearm off the tee.
Yeah, and it looks good. That's really, you want to take it wide. You're challenging the OB on the left, and she's landed in the early part of the landing spot. She should have a look at the green from there, but reminder, last year, fireworks on this hole, the final round with Paige carding an 8, Sarah with a 4, flip-flopping a 2-stroke lead to a 2-stroke deficit before she gained it back on the final hole. Looks like Paige Bierkes is really happy about that. This is a shot where players really need to focus in. It's the end of the round, hole 17. This is a demanding tee shot. Anything special that a competitor might do to focus in coming down the stretch, Val, or just keep your game plan?
Keep that game plan, and I think that forehand play out of Paige was great. We see Sarah playing the forehand route because it looks like that left-hand side of the fairway is way more open. We saw Paige Bierkes throwing an Anheuser shot. So they're keeping away from that sidewalk that's on the left that is OB. And let's see what play here Brianna does to get herself in a good position for her upshot.
She goes with the forehand as well, flexing out, and she looks like she's safe as well. So all 4 competitors on the fairway, and as you can see from the landing zone, there are 2 trees that block the approach to the green. So players are going to have to decide whether they're going to go out and around them. Now, if they do, they're going to have to challenge the river. If they don't, they're going to have to challenge all the shul that's on the right side. So it's definitely a challenge either way.
Yeah, this is scary. And seeing where their shots end up, they're going to have to get tricky, whether they really go for it or if they play another placement shot just to land safe, because you're testing the OB on this hole the entire way.
Yeah, where Sarah
try to
ended, she's
transition
going to
to the
have a
basket
big
if you can,
choice,
Joey.
whereas I believe that Paige Bierkes, Brianna are a little short of those trees, might go with the early gap. We didn't really see where Paige Pierce has ended up. She may be able to go around, but very interesting hole, huge potential for scoring swings. And yeah, it's just going to be pretty interesting to see how our players attack this. As we've just gotten word, Katrina Allen has finished her round with a bogey, pulling her back into a tie for the lead with Paige. So the back and forth continues as we see Sarah really looking at this problem I mentioned. Is she going to go inside? Is she going to go outside? Probably not going to split the middle. That's a tight gap between those trees. But,
Not intentionally, anyways, but I would imagine, yeah, she's going to go for that wider route, but making sure she's got the angle right, she's hitting the line that she picks in the sky, and hopefully landing her in the middle of the fairway.
yeah, and it really looked like she was considering that flex forehand. Going around the outside, you bring a lot more
Joey's
danger.
almost
Like
there.
it's danger both ways,
Chase
but you
him.
bring the OB into play. I believe that all that shul on the right you can play out of, and behind the green, left of the green is OB.
But yeah, I think that's the way, 'cause
I'm not even playing this hole, but this scares me.
A lot of consideration being put into this next shot.
they got you.
There's Robert again with Paige Bierkes, and they're considering the angles. They're probably doing a lot of reading of the wind.
Yeah. You know Weston
With
Isaacs?
it being a little blustery out there, sometimes you have to wait until you have the right wind condition. But can't wait too long.
I wish we had that opportunity, but when it's your turn to throw, you got 30 seconds, so hopefully the wind dies down just in time, but yeah, you never know.
It's like we have a little bit of time here as the card in front of me is just finishing up, and it tells you how challenging this hole is. Like as we go to the green and see them putting out. It's one of the backup holes for a reason. There's so much challenge. And as we mentioned last year, seeing the finish just transpire the way it did. Sarah starting the day with a 6-stroke lead, and then ending up with a 2-stroke lead coming onto this hole with a 4-stroke swing. Just truly incredible. And really a testament to the course designers and the way they formatted this course. Not necessarily always played in this order, but Ryan Draper and his team at the Waco Annual Charity Open, who are putting this on, have really done a great job making this tournament exciting.
And they call it the Beast for a reason. And I know there's a bunch of beasts out there. I wonder how many beasts we can mention.
Well, you got Mick Beast.
Oh, yeah, that counts.
That's a person,
I
not a
guess.
course.
European Open, they call that course
That
the
course,
Beast.
the Beast.
There's a lot of burly, nasty, beast-like courses out there. You got another one?
I'm drawing a blank right now, but I'm sure that there
Two is
are
waiting for these
spectators out
guys
there
to
that are
play
thinking
through,
of
and
a
I'll
couple other
reposition to my final
beast
position.
holes, courses. It could be a hole, could be a player, could be a entire course. So.
And we could see the Beast has the wind has picked up, making these last 2 holes extremely challenging. Oh man, these players, all they're doing right now is trying to judge that wind trying to figure out where this shot has placed them in the fairway and how this upshot is going to land under. And looks like we're back in the action. The players in front of them have cleared, and we've got Brianna throwing her second shot to the fairway, hopefully.
You know, this 2 forehands in a row. We haven't seen a ton of forehands other than escape shots for Rihanna. And it looks like, yeah, great shot from her. And, you know, a finish like this really brings into question, you know, how a player responds under pressure, you know, especially on these shots. You're at the end of your round, you don't want to give it away. Holcomb, great competitor through the years, world champion. Does she have that clutch gene, in your opinion?
Oh yeah, she's clutch. She was clutch when she won her first world championships. We were battling it out, and she had an amazing putt to finish off the final 9. So she is the most clutch player I've ever seen.
Wow, strong words from Val here, lauding Sarah Holcomb as one of the most clutch players she's ever seen. It looks like she's struggled a little bit right there. Not really sure where that one ended up.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, finishing these last couple of holes. Again, the fairway's tightening up. There's OB, so you're not feeling so comfortable on these shots. We'll see how Paige is able to handle this.
This backhand, distinct, different approach. She's turning it over. It's going right down the edge, and she is inbounds.
That was an incredible shot. That was awesome to see. She's stoked about it. Couple high fives there. She was quick to throw. I guess she had a lot of time to
Plenty
think
of
about
time
that
to think
shot.
about it. Plenty of time to think about it. And here we are, Paige Pierce. This is what distance does for you. It makes it so much simpler to approach. Doesn't have to deal with these trees. Is right up near them and looking, you know, she at the green. She can really utilize her strength, which is her backhand. Even though you don't want to lose it left, you can't let this fade out. So she's trying to dial this in. Big moment for Paige here. Taking it right at the basket, leaking left.
Those shots can be really tough, as much as, you know, she's in such a perfect position. Throwing that nice, perfectly frozen rope upshot is really challenging, especially with the wind. It has a lot to do with disc choice and how you can trust it to fly in the wind like that. I think Paige did a great job executing that shot. Sarah on the right-hand side of the fairway. She is out of bounds. We weren't able to see the shot finish up, but she is going to be taking her relief here from that out-of-bounds wall. Must have just flown right over. I think that OB wall seems to help players sometimes, but if you fly a little high, you're of course going to end up OB over that. But this gives her a good look at it, especially with her forehand shot. Got a lot of air, but again, we see that river right on the left-hand side of the fairway.
Yeah, and she's stretching out to get a better angle here. And the right side is OB with that wall and behind it. So we've got a very protected green. Sarah doing her best to keep this round together. She really wants this to be just under the basket. And, you know, she'll have a putt, but it's there. It's inside circle 1. And she's going to want to put that in and hang on. She's trying to stay under par. She's 2 under par right now. And she's putting from bogey from circle 1. So we've got Paige Pierce in circle 2, putting for birdie. And we've got Paige Pierce, who's, you know, a little bit outside circle 2, but still in good spot after 2 throws as we come down to this peninsula type of green, you know, made with this Disc Golf Pro Tour wall. We watch Brianna go and try to mark her disc. She is trying to come back in from being out of bounds here.
I believe she is safe. She is not in the water. Maybe she's taking the relief. Just to be safe, it looks like a mucky, nasty, swamp-like edge there on the river. She's trying to work and get good footing so that she can really commit to this shot. That's a tough spot to be in. She's slightly lower than the fairway, and so she's gonna have to give it a good amount of height, but hopefully not let the wind get under the disc too much and take control. So this is the tough shot for her, but she looks like she's gonna be working an angle on the sidearm.
Yeah, taking it high at a high angle. And yeah, Brianna tied for 13th. Still on her bogey train. Battling though, nothing too big, just a lot of bogeys. Challenging course. We've seen her throw a bunch of forehands, which isn't her primary strength, but the rest of the card has tightened up a little bit. With Paige Pierce bouncing back two birdies, and so we got some really big shots coming up here with Paige Bierkes again tied for the lead, having a look. Looks like from outside of circle 2. So this is a long look. How aggressive do you think she's going to choose to be right here? It's a long event. This is the end of round 1, Val. So, really, she's probably just going to lay this up, yeah?
Yeah. Looks like she's going to lay it up, yeah.
Great analysis there.
Thank you. Giving me enough time to actually break that down. But yeah, no need to push it there. She's already done all the hard work. Just lay it up under the basket. Get going. Just another hole left.
A different mindset from Pierce here, though. Trying to battle back. Has a circle 2 putt for birdie. Maybe a little more aggressive.
Yes, Paige wants this. Oof. Enough behind it, but not quite. Running for that birdie there, but that'll give her a good par. Not a bad play on this hole. Gave her a good opportunity. I think she played it really well.
Yeah, and Brianna would love to see this circle 2 putt fall. She's made some big ones. Oh, just low.
And we said she threw a sidearm on this upshot, but that was like a upside down thumber, flippy, Scooby action. I'm not sure what that was, but landed her right in the middle of the fairway. Gave her that putt there, and we've got Sarah Hokum here. She's putting for bogey after going OB.
Big putt for Sarah. She needs this to stay under par. Boom, big putt. She's feeling good about that. Keeping her card pretty clean. Now she's got her second bogey of the day there, but at least it's not a double. Still under par at 1 under. She's one of 3 women who are under par for the day, as we've seen our former leader Vanessa Van Dyken with a even par finish.
We just saw Paige Bierkes miss that putt right there. Struggling a little bit on these last couple of holes. You see her drop in there. That was a 5. That was a bogey on this par 4. So yeah, we talked about Sarah's putting stroke. Looked like she got it there. She was confident in that to save that. It was for bogey, but crisis management. She was able to capitalize when she could after going out of bounds.
Sometimes it's funny, those birdie putts of the same distance don't fall, but the bogeys do. It's odd that it seems almost easier to put the bogey putts in, but different vibe, different focus perhaps. And we're moving on to hole 18 of our feature card, and it's been an exciting day. I'm Jeff Spring. I'm here, happy to be commentating with Val. The Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs at Brazos Park East, the Beast Course. Big shout out to Dynamic Discs for presenting this event, to Ryan Draper and his team at Waco, and to the Disc Golf Pro Tour for providing live coverage of this event. Thanks for joining me, Val.
Yeah, my pleasure. I feel like I've played this course today. I'm a little uneasy. These holes are so difficult. I mean, it throws every challenge in your face. You got the wide open shots, you got lots of OB, then it sends you into the woods for about 9 holes, as tight of fairways as you can get out there. Mandos, every challenge in the book out on this course. Is the reason they call it the Beast.
Thank you.
And this hole 18 could be one of the more challenging hole 18s that you can see out there.
A lot of risk reward on this, and we know that Paige Pierce can go over the water. Probably one of a few competitors on the FPO field that are going to try. But just taking a peek as we see them get ready to tee off on 18 and take scores here with Brianna with the card in her hand. Let's take a recap and a snapshot of the
I
day.
had a 5-2.
We've seen a lot of different names popping up top on the leaderboard. First, it was Vanessa Van Dyken. She kind of went a little cold on the back nine with the double bogey on 15, finished even par. She's in fourth place. Our card, our feature card, has someone at second, third, fifth, and then Brianna at 13th. So it's been interesting to watch this group as we've seen Paige Bierkes in the lead, Paige Pierce battle back and then fall back in fifth place. And right now we've got Kat in first place at 3 under, and Paige is hanging in there. Paige Bierkes.
Yes, she is, and it's fun to see the players on this tee. We saw Sarah Hookham's dog there, Ruby. She's a tiny little dog, but she's definitely getting bigger from the last time I saw her. But let's take a moment, listen in to see the players play this last hole. See if they talk about the strategy.
Got it. Yeah, oh yeah, last hole. Hey.
Yeah. Yep.
Jeremy.
Whoa.
One fell in the water right where he's pointing. Yeah. It was like 2 feet out, so it wasn't too far. I didn't. I know. I'm sorry.
Uphill off the water. Who
I
does that?
tried, but the hills.
Okay.
I heard all the cheers. Which camera are we on?
And we see the chase card, the second card, finishing their putts here. And as we mentioned, Paige Pierce can go for this shot. It's 492 feet to par 4 over water. You have to have a huge distance to go for this. Otherwise, we'll see these players playing on the left-hand side of the fairway. There's OB sidewalk on the left, and then that water on the right. So they have another landing strip. So even though you're playing it safe, it's still risky. But if you have the distance like Paige Pierce does, she's going to try and bite off as much as she can in that drive. So we'll see if she does it again this year. I would imagine so.
Yeah, it looks like a tailwind, a little bit of a crosswind bending on, because the tee angle is actually down the left side. So it's a tail if you go the direction of the tee, but if she's going to cross, she's going to have quite a cross tailwind to deal with, which may keep her Anheuser angle forced down. They help her get over, but there is OB long. We know she's got quite the distance. And so what's your prediction value? You think we're going to see either the Pages try to challenge this pond and get over it?
Skip and then win
I
it.
think we're going to see Paige Pierce go for it. I'm not sure. I see her lining up now. I'm going to guess she's going to go safe.
Bierkus does.
It's all about timing in this world, but playing it safe on the left-hand side, that's what I would do. I think that's the best option, especially if you don't have the distance to clear it like Paige Pierce does.
My mic on?
And this is what we saw last year with Sarah Hokum throwing a backhand off the tee.
Just taking it out wider, making sure it's safe.
Looking rough there. I think this is just, yeah, you have to stick to the game plan that you know. I know even if you go for it, you could send it a little more to the right, and there is a safer landing zone even though you're clearing water the whole time. Brianna also going for the safe route there.
So 3 of our competitors playing the safe route. Paige Pierce not making it over and having to mark. And that's kind of a challenge for her because she's had a good end to her event. Her round 1 here. But, she's going to try to get up and down for the par. It is a par 4. She still has a chance to par out. And she is in 5th, and she's only 6 strokes back. So our defending champ's still in the mix. Seeing a little bit of a challenge on hole 18 here as our other competitors look to cross the pond on their second shots and get in for birdie. The big question here is, will Paige Bierkus get up and down to tie Katrina for the lead? Not a huge deal, but it's always nice to be top of the card going into the second round and kind of throw that hot round of the day in round 1.
Yes, and it's awesome to start off hot, but finishing on a difficult hole like this, it's amazing to walk away with playing that last hole really great. Whether it's a good putt that you made or sticking to your game plan and just playing safely down that left-hand side, it's all about how you finish. And we're going to see these players, trying to dial this in as the weekend continues. And man, a lot more water that Paige has to clear after not throwing inbounds off of her tee shot.
Yeah, and we see the group helping her find her mark. Looks like everybody's in agreement, and Paige is looking at pretty long carry here. Nothing out of her ability level, but she wants to put this, really inside the circle so she can have a putt for par to close out this round. Oh, great shots. Just clearing, low line, got it up high enough to clear the bank, and she's inside the circle. That's going to be a big putt for her to finish without a blemish in those last 5 holes where she's 2 down so far.
Yeah, way to recover from that OB shot off the tee, but she's got the distance, so there was no reason for her to play that left-hand side of the fairway.
Whatever you guys think.
We see again, looking for a mark here for Sarah Hokum. They're looking for a disc in the edge of the water there. She did throw the backhand off the tee. It's going to be interesting to see which shot she goes for now being butted up right next to the water on the right. Maybe she does have a little space to throw a sidearm, or maybe she's going for it.
Yeah, last year she did go out of bounds in the final round left side and then laid up again, but she is going for it with the forehand this time. Here in the studio, we are having a little bit of a challenge seeing exactly what's happening on the action, but we can see Sarah lining this up, going over just like Paige did. Big shot for Sarah, 3rd place right now.
That was nice skip there. That's what you want to do. If you're gonna throw it over the water, you gotta make sure you clear the water completely. I know that there is another OB water risk behind the basket, but it looks like Sarah was able to get it up there. She should be safe up there. She'll be putting from par from circle 1. But yeah, I'm sure she's relieved that she was able to cross the water on that shot to recover after her OB tee shot.
So we've got 2 OB, 2 in safe on the green, putting for par. Big putts for both of those ladies. We see Brianna here lining up her second shot.
was risking that sidewalk there, but she's nice and safe.
Looks like she's going to be going over. It'd be great to see her end with a par or even a birdie on this hole. And boom, it's out of her hand. She's not loving it. It looks like it's leaning left on her. Let's see if it hangs in there.
Ooh, I see that wind ripping, making these shots really difficult, but she does not throw it in the water. So that's a good thing. We got Paige Bjerkes, last one to throw her up shot near the basket. Again, going for the shot. Maybe about 200 feet to the basket.
The best drive out of the bunch. Let's see if she can capitalize. And she's across safely. It looks like she's inside the circle and going for a putt to tie the hot round of the day, which is Katrina Allen. Katrina's in with a 64, 3 under on this par 67 beast course at Bravos Park East. We're here at the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. And as our competitors walk across the final stretch to get to the green, I just want to thank Val Jenkins for joining me. I'm Jeff Spring. We're here in the booth calling live for the Disc Golf Pro Tour, our second event of the year at Waco. Big thank you to Ryan Draper and his team. It takes a lot to produce quite an event like this one, and it's been super exciting to watch the scores go up and down all day. We've got a great card to watch, and tomorrow's shaping up to be a great card as well, Val.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see the battle continue. A few new names than last year, but Sarah Hokum, she fell just short in that final round, but she's right there in the mix, ready to get some revenge from last year. So it's one round down, excuse me. Lots of golf to play. Lots more challenging holes ahead. You see the players here looking off on the rough. Still not out in the clear yet.
Not quite on the clear. Brianna did leak a little left. She'll be able to mark her disc and putt for par, and we're definitely looking forward to her hitting this par putt and getting off the schneid. She struggled in the back 9, but overall she's tied for 15, hanging in there. Tomorrow's featured card looks like it's going to be Katrina Allen, who, as we mentioned, is the leader in the clubhouse, and we'll see if Paige Bjerkes can tap in and tie her for the hot round of the day. Sarah Hokum is also, going to be on that lead card. So Katrina's going to join us, and also Vanessa Van Dyken. She was the leader early. She struggled on her way in, but kept it together to stay even par. As we look down the leaderboard, the names that we're going to be looking at on our chase card tomorrow. Paige Pierce, she's 3 over now. Ellen Woodboom, 5 over. Rebecca Cox, 6 over. And it looks like Lisa Fakis is going to edge out Jessica Weiss for that chase card spot. And they'll be chasing that group, Kat, Paige, Sarah, and Vanessa.
I don't know because
looks like they're still looking for this disc and
left of it.
hoping to find it
Looks
for
like it could
Brianna.
but
You
there's
get a
water
close
on
up
top
in
of
the shul. There it is. Trying to determine if it's in the water on
But what about this mud that's underneath?
land.
Yeah.
Tough to tell.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
It kind of looks like it's flipping there. There's enough debris in the water to kind of build up a stance there.
I'm gonna play
It
from behind
is,
it. I'll stick my feet in.
Again, out of bounds on that right-hand side. It's a marked line that is swampy in between 2 water hazards. Be a tough finish. She ends up out of bounds.
Looks like the LV line may not be defined there. Yeah, and we'll just leave it to players here to make a decision. And it looks like Brianna's just going to chip out.
Nasty.
There we go. Again, sure wanting to finish a little bit cleaner than that, but she had a great showing this round. A little bit of struggles. She's rated 9-10, so the group that she's playing with today, they're in the high 900s. So she was manning her own. I think she had really solid play. And there we go. Paige Pierce, that was a par. for Paige on this par 4.
Great recovery.
Yeah, and what a fun round it's been as these players go up and down and work their way through this extremely challenging course.
And there we go. Brianna getting off the bogey train on the final hole, cashing in for 4, her drive being safe as you heard the players deliberate about that. Here's Paige Bierkes, and she's put it in for a birdie finish, and she's going to tie Kat Allen for the lead at 3 under par as Sarah taps in and finishes her day with a par as well. Great finishing hole. A lot of excitement on 17 and 18 there, where a lot of moves can be made. What an interesting day on the course.
Yes, it was. As I was saying, lots of challenges, but these players fought back against the beast, and they managed. It was nice to see how great Paige Bierkes executed this round, shooting 3 under for the round. I know we said par golf was great. 3 under is incredible. Sarah Hokum finished 1 under for the round. Paige Pierce at 3 over, having some struggles up and down. She carted the snowman out there. Brianna Ainsley, she is tied for 15th. Not too bad. Shot a plus 10 for the round. Had a lot of bogeys in that last stretch, so that started accumulating in the back, but solid play. Everybody was across the board. Scores all over the place.
Absolutely. It was quite the day out there, and we're going to see 2 more days
I
of
was just making sure my
action-packed
mic
disc
wasn't
golf
hot.
here at the
But it was hot.
Brazos Park
You can hear
East
me?
at the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Dynamic Discs. I'm Jeff Spring. This is Val Jenkins, and we're going to be coming to you live tomorrow morning with round 2 coverage. Really excited for the ups and downs.
Yep, exactly. We're coming to you again 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, but you're going to be coming back this afternoon covering the MPO live with my husband, Nate Doss. So taking turns this weekend. Thanks for coming in town and all the way from Vermont. It's been fun today. Thanks for everyone that's joined us.
Yeah, thanks for watching. And from the DGBT, we'll be back this afternoon, and have a great afternoon.